I'll wear it anyway. I mean, I would be a bit surprised if people were catching it from the gas pumps and somebody wears gloves or anything. Keep touching the gas pump. I imagine that'd be an easy way to spread it.
Oh yeah, it's common area touched. Because I know, like I said though, most places close their bathrooms down.
Well, they're like, well, the common argument is it's too cold for it to live in a gas pump. I'm like, no, it's not. It's like -0 degrees yet.
They'll learn when they get it.
It's like,
I know, like I said though, most places.
you know, when it's like 0 degrees out, your nose is like around, the inside of your nose is like around 20 or 30 degrees. That's the ideal living temperature for a virus.
Yeah.
So the colder it gets, the more likely you're able to catch it as long as you touch your face anywhere.
Yeah, they say that's what these days. Don't. They tell you don't touch your face. Yep. Oh, you're fine, you're fine. Oh, I did. I bet it's no good though.
Well, who we waiting on?
Chris, I guess, I think.
He sent me a text saying he was going to be late, probably couldn't come.
I think everybody else is here now.
But yeah, 5 out of 6. Well, here we are. Episode 2 of our new campaign. This campaign, by the way, is called Ghosts. Whether that actually means anything or not, I guess we'll find out.
I think it does.
Well, you've already seen one. Right? You already seen a ghost.
We hear you, Randy.
Howdy.
So, we welcome those viewers on Facebook Live, all 9 of you. When this gets uploaded to YouTube, we welcome all of you that aren't going to watch as well. So, let's see. Quick recap of the last game. Everyone here was at some point or another at the market in the huge city of Tila in the Republic of Saskatchewan. And one by one, they all had an interaction with their surroundings, that being a dropped wallet, a noble appearing lord and lady not noticing the wallet, and they all acted in whatever way they chose whenever this situation of would they like to take the wallet that no one has seen and either keep it for themselves or return it to their rightful owner.
Or just stare at it.
Or just look at it.
Yeah.
Not everyone reacted the same way, but there were some that were offered jobs because of their forthright and proper respect of the owner of this pouch. Some were confronted about keeping the pouch, and some were alerted to a possible job through another means, which is a simple post on the market square, for lack of a better term, a bulletin board. And they all ended up in the home of this woman and man. At least we assume it was their home. Everyone made it there. Everyone was introduced or made their introductions. And they all, after having been tempted or offered a chance at gainful employment, they were given a job by the man, and they were given a little bit of coin up front, and they decided to take him up on his offer. They all signed legally binding contracts as far as they know. They certainly looked valid, and they all went, and if they didn't have supplies, they purchased some. Then they made plans to meet up the next morning at the northern gate of the town. The job was to go find out what happened to the village of Notnef. A nondescript, unremarkable place.
Ain't that the truth?
The man, his only information was he could not tell why there was no one there. All the people were missing. All the animals were missing, but the town, the buildings were still intact.
I thought you said the animals were still there. If they've
Actually,
been caged,
I don't
if
re-
they've been caged.
Oh,
and
that's
died.
right. That's right, because you got up there and some of them were dead, or I don't.
Well, no,
I honestly don't
he said
remember.
that. He said that those that were caged were dead, and those that were allowed to roam free were.
Sounds good. So, the journey commenced, some on foot, some on horseback, some with pack animals.
Yeah, I have a mule. I didn't realize I had.
The group consists of 6 individuals. 6 individuals who have a little bit of experience under their belt as far as the world is concerned. There's varying backgrounds and possibly even various places of origin. So, I don't remember exactly how much information was shared between the characters. I'm sure some was shared. I'm sure not everything was shared. But they set off on their journey. Sean is holding up his hand.
It appeared more than likely that Chris and I, characters are fighters, we kind of don't have any idea what Dan's character is yet. Perhaps just a fighter. We, or at least some of us, believe that Daryl's character is a bard or a musician of some sort, and Randy's character is he has a shop in town. He's a local merchant, and I don't remember. I don't remember the other character. It's kind of what I mean. Nobody
Dan make woods, and so does.
That's right, Rhodes. That's right. He's
Jason.
cleric, said he was, or not cleric, but Something in the woods, right? I remember that now. Druid, I think he's
Yeah. Jason's a druid.
he schooled us on that a bit.
All right. So,
Yeah, I made no mystery of what I was, so.
Though if you were listening, I might be a lawman of some sort, because I was asked to arrest Daryl's character.
I wasn't there yet.
Like it
Not
was-
all of us were there at that time. That was early on.
Like it was a known thing that I worked for the law.
You have the gear of what appears to be a fighter, but you could be anything at this point, so. Or more than that, who knows?
so these
Chris and I can be mage fighters.
the journey. They set off north, and I think on the second day of travel,
No, it was one day.
you guys never even made it to nightfall? Before?
No, because we got
No,
caught
we
with this
stopped
worm
at
thing in the
that-
woods.
Yeah, we
Okay.
were following, and we stopped at the, in the woods,
creek.
right, because he said there was taint up the river,
Right.
polluting the water,
Right when the thing disappears, pretty much where we ended.
and
Yeah.
then I was attacked, so it disappeared.
Okay, so the
We were looking for somewhere to take a rest and have some food, I think.
that's
What it
correct.
was, and to refill our water at the creek, and that's what led to the creek being poisoned or whatever.
So luckily the druid was able to detect impurities in the water, and he warned his traveling companions. They decided to investigate the source of the impurities, and sure enough, there was some kind of, well, this goes back to at the home of the man, after they left, some of them, but not everyone, saw this weird worm-like creature crawling down into the sewer grate, or the water
I did not.
grate,
I missed it.
and so when and there was a weird vibration in the ground, and then nothing happened. So they did not choose to attempt to go down into the sewers at that time. So whenever they made it and went up the stream, they saw a 30 or 40 foot long worm in the middle of the water. And when Tanmark decided to investigate, he was attacked by a humanoid creature that somehow came out of the worm.
That he recognized as somebody that he had fought and killed before.
And then so up at this big old worm that's dead, the characters are all sort of congregating at different times. Some ran, some did not. I do not have figures picked out for everyone yet, but I'm working on it. So for the time being,
Okay.
we're just going to use some of these until I get some characters that I want to use. Yes?
I believe the worm's gone. I believe the druid cast something and made the whole thing disappear. Or whatever he did to it.
No,
I destroyed water that dehydrated the worm.
Correct. And then after the goblin was dispatched, it kind of like turned into this dust and blew away, and so did the great worm.
Is that a long sword or a short sword?
That probably is a short sword.
That'll work for me.
But
No
like I said,
second.
I'm working on getting, well, there's 6 figures. So, for the time being, we'll have this be a druid, and we'll have this be a nobody.
Yeah, 2 fighters that look very similar.
Give me somebody with a robe.
Don't need no stinking old.
Alright, you can have that guy, that's fine. So,
Yeah,
who has a bow?
so I'm easier to distinguish.
I don't have one out.
Does anyone have a bow?
I don't usually jump to that first.
I used to have a bow.
I don't
Yes,
care if you want
I
to give
do.
me one. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, so this will be pick for now. And we'll have... Do I have a bard-like figure? What kind of weapon do you carry, Reggie?
A dagger and a long sword.
I think that's a
Oh,
female.
good. Nothing long sword.
Yeah, but you can barely see the breast.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just use these for now. Okay, so unless someone needs to hurry up and do something right at this exact moment, this is kind of the situation. This is Reggie, and he's pulling a horse up the stream. This is Shadrach and Pick, who, but I think Shadrach, you were starting to move forward, and Pick, I don't remember if you were or not,
Yes.
but you certainly can.
Could you draw the water first?
I don't know, we don't need it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'll join the rest of the people up there. I want to see the worm up close.
Okay, well, so like I was saying, if there's anyone that needed to do something very quickly for some unknown reason, we can just move to where everybody's up
So
there.
I thought the worm disappeared with a guy.
It did.
Okay.
I'm just trying to kind of show the size of it.
Okay. Well, he was
Well, he
saying
said he
that
was
he
going to
wanted to
examine
see
the
the
worm,
worm,
that's why I
but
was-
the worm
Okay.
gone.
All right.
I'm going to examine the area where it was at the very least.
Okay. So there you all are. The water is now kind of returned to its natural flow, if you will, and you're surrounded by kind of 4-foot banks that are about 30 foot across, or apart, I should say, and the trees are kind of right up on that, as if the water has kind of just eaten down in the ground over time. And you guys can do whatever you want right now. So the Shadrach has said he wants to investigate the scene, hoping to find something that might give him a clue as to what's going on. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do
Rise
you
up.
have, hold on. Do you have any non-weapon proficiency which could help you in this, Shadrach?
Let me examine that real quick.
So while he's doing that,
Not while he's doing that.
No.
Just your turn. No? Okay, roll
Unless I
one.
use spellcraft.
Okay,
Spellcraft is the only thing that's even close.
all right, roll that.
So it's a D20 plus spellcraft.
Correct?
Sure, got the right guy here. Okay. 19.
Total?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. Okay, and then you,
I was going to say Rise and I could just be standing guard, or at least that's what I'm doing. Just like
okay,
a little out from the perimeter, just keep an eye on things coming in if there is.
all right,
Not doing anything with the area unless requested to.
very good.
I was wanting to help him investigate, like, even, I'm not so sure I even believe that the worm was really there, so I'm wanting to see signs of it, like, is there displacement in the rocks, you know, is there signs that this 30-foot thing really was there at some point, or is
Okay,
it?
do you have any non-weapon proficiency which could give you some type of help on what you're attempting to do?
tracking, survival force.
Pick something and roll it.
Tracking.
Okay.
$24 gold.
Okay. You start to do that, and I will get to everyone's results here in a second. Anything from anyone else? We'll start with top left, Reggie.
Yeah. I had tethered my horse where it would to drink, and I joined the group.
Did you want to do anything other than just kind of look around? Anything specific?
I will speak to Tamar, and so what came out? You said something came out of this worm. I didn't see it, so I asked him about it.
Okay, you can see that he is concentrating on something in the area as if he's looking for something. If you wish to engage with that, then you will have to stop what it is you're doing.
Can you hold on one moment? I'll speak with you.
Mean to interrupt.
Okay. Pick anything from you at this time.
I watched.
I'd like to see if I could recover my arrows.
Okay. So, let's go to Shadrach. You are searching for something, and you're using your knowledge base, which would be the spellcraft jam, to try to look for anything unusual. You, go ahead.
I'm looking for like symbolism in the worm. Something that like in my sect, if we had any kind of a thing about worms.
Okay. All right. So, you think to yourself, what could be this? And you know that what worms are in the ground, and you know that worms tend to be good for the soil or what have you. But no symbology or specific stories.
If you look at Kyle, it's straight on Kyle. They can't even see my hand.
Well, no, I can show you what they're seeing. No, it's the
Well,
camera up there.
it
Last
doesn't
week they
matter.
said they couldn't see us.
Well, they might still not. I'm just saying, but it's two different cameras here.
Yeah.
Because the one on the TV is on me.
Oh, that's still okay. Well, that's what I meant. Either way, it's showing your.
I will show you what they can see. Not a big deal. Takes all 3 seconds.
Well, we can see. We should be able to see what they can see by looking on Facebook. Because it shows you and
That's what they can see.
Oh.
No, that's a different camera.
So they can see Dan right there.
Can you hear what he said?
Daryl, you can move in, Dan.
Yep.
You see Dan?
You see me wave?
Daryl?
Yeah, I saw him waving when he leaned in. Yeah, I can see his face.
So that's what he can see. Now you're
Yeah.
barely on there, Sean.
My hand. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't know what else I can do.
Oh, it doesn't
No, you're
matter.
fine. I was just waving.
Okay.
Friendly.
So let me move that back over. All right. Okay. So, Shadrach, unfortunately, at this particular time, your efforts yield no results. Okay, we move on to Tamar. You are looking for tracks. Well, you can see that there was maybe an indentation in the ground where something was in the water in the creek bed, which would lead you to believe that there was something there and it's not there anymore.
Okay. All right.
And that is what your action reveals
So
to
there
you.
was evidence that something actually existed there.
Okay. And then as you look around up here where you were, or you kind of look down, you do see that there are some quickly disappearing tracks of something smaller, as if the thing that you just fought apparently has mass. Okay.
So one last thing really quick, which you can get to later, but I'm thinking back to when it disappeared in front of me.
Now, like I said, it kind of didn't just like vanish. It
Right.
kind of did the whole kind of breaking apart and turning into dust and
Right.
going away.
So now that I'm thinking of that, I would like to roll spellcraft to see if it resembled the spell or.
Okay, so we'll get back to that.
So,
Okay, then we come up here to Reggie, who now at this time, Reggie, if you want to, you can see that he's gotten up and he's kind of not investigating. If you wish to engage Tamark, you may.
So do you think that this worm was some sort of larva that birthed another being, or how did it crawl from the things? Was it a cocoon of some kind, or was it actually a worm?
I think it was a worm, but this thing just like
I mean,
came
it looked
out
like
of it.
it.
So did what? Like did it look like it had been cut? It cut itself out or something, or tore itself?
No, like it, like if you took your fist and pushed it into a balloon, you could see it like behind, and then it kind of like pressed through the membrane, leaving the membrane behind it intact, but this entity was now there.
It looked like.
And just hold on, and just for the record, anyone that wants to participate in this conversation can, because it's actually a very nice, quiet, lovely scene. So, but make sure that you ask to speak, especially you guys online, because we're going to try to keep the talking over each other. So, but right now Dan's talking, so go ahead.
So it looked like it walked right through it without disturbing it. It was weird. And now that I'm thinking of that, I would like to see if that resembles.
Well, hold on. Daryl, anything else from you? I'm sorry, Reggie.
No, I'm just looking around.
So,
Okay.
Are you going to be okay, Tamar? Does he still have an arrow sticking out of him?
yes, I have an arrow sticking out of me still.
Actually,
Or
it
are you?
stuck in him. He pulled it out quickly. It's not the kind of wound it wasn't that kind of wound. It was a kind of like a hit, and yes, he took damage, but it's not the kind that the arrow sticks in him.
Not a life-threatening thing.
Correct.
So, hey Pike,
I'm
would
just
you
going
like
to
your arrow
observe
back?
these two.
Go ahead, Daryl.
I'm just going to observe Tamar and Shadrach as they are doing their thing. I'm interested in watching these woodsmen and see what they're learning.
Okay.
Done.
So now we will go to pick. And I've already forgotten what you said. You wanted to retrieve arrows. Okay, so how many arrows did you shoot? Do you remember?
2.
Just 2. Okay. So you kind of start moseying over. You kind of walk towards Tamar and you look on the ground and there's one on the ground by him.
You want your
Sorry.
arrow back?
Roll a d20.
At 12.
Okay, it's still good.
Yeah, I managed to not break it when I pulled it out of me.
And if you want to look for the other one, you'll have to move away from the group and go look. Is that something you want to do?
Yes, please.
Okay. So now you roll percentile.
98.
Roll a d10.
Got it.
The 9.
Okay, so you're out there looking around for a while. Like a thief searching for traps or someone searching for secret whatever. You just spent 9 rounds out there looking for this fucking arrow, and after 9 rounds you're like, fuck it, I give up. Unless for some reason you want to keep looking.
No,
Okay. And then what do you do when you're finished?
I'll head back towards the group.
Okay. So, in the meantime, and I'll come back to you in a second, is there anything else that anyone wants to do or have a discussion amongst yourselves? Anybody? Shadrach?
Okay, so he's injured. I say, let me tend your wound, friend.
And just for clarity, you're speaking to Tamar?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. Well,
I'm just going to use my non-proficiency heal to basically give him first aid.
Okay. Do you remember how that works?
I rolled a 25, so
Okay.
I have a pretty good heal. So
I would think so. Let me read you that just so you can understand what it is that you're doing. And I understand.
I'll have a book by. Okay, so
when you use your healing proficiency, you get out and you start to examine him. You're checking him. You're looking at his wounds. You can see that he's got like a little bit of a 1/4-inch hole in his side, in his right side, under his right arm, where the arrow kind of stuck in a little bit before he pulled it out. And with that check, you realize that it's not life-threatening. He's not going to get any weaker. The bleeding has already clotted. If you would have gotten to him within a round of him taking that wound, you would have been able to get him back some hit points. You could have like put some salve or stitched it or whatever, right? But unfortunately it's been a while, so you basically just find out that it's not that big a deal. He'll be fine and he can heal up on his own, or if anyone wanted to give him some other type of healing, they certainly could, but he's in no danger.
does he look like too, or what?
Pardon me?
Does it look like, from my check, do I think I should lay hands on this guy or what? You said he looked like a minor wound, right?
That's for you to decide, but I would say your healing check gives you the information that it's not a life-threatening wound. No.
Keep that clean, brother. And if it continues to bother you, come and tell me.
You said keep it clean? Okay.
You cut out for a second.
Okay, so everyone else is sort of standing around, keeping their eyes open. The sounds of the stream and of the natural setting kind of makes you forget a little bit that you just had this otherworldly thing happen that there's really no explanation for. And then Pick returns empty-handed, and then you all can do whatever you want. COVID?
Is the water safe? Has it been retested?
Drink.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. I go and fill my canteen or water, wine.
All right.
I will as well.
All right.
Most of the things I might want to say to them now revolve around whether I make my 2 rolls and garner any knowledge from what I was thinking about.
Okay, you have to be more specific, or
So I wanted to use my spellcraft thinking back to when it disappeared,
Right.
and then when it walked through that membrane,
okay,
to see if I recognized
go ahead and roll.
any signs of magic. So 17 and 16 is what? 30,
33.
33. So 33 for my spellcraft.
Okay. Well, I would say that you are fairly certain that a definition of magic could be applied to what you just witnessed. You are not exactly sure because the components involved in what you witnessed do not match up to any spells that you're acquainted with. So without having a definite explanation of the unexplainable, you attribute it to magic as if you were...
I was more looking at if I'd ever seen somebody use something similar, and I could determine it.
No.
So, COVID.
Yeah.
I'm positive magic was used. That thing was using magic. Did it use magic when you knew it?
No.
No?
Nope.
What natural thing would just vanish when it died? Can you deny
I don't
this
think
magic?
It didn't
must
die.
be magic.
I don't think
It's
it died.
definitely unnatural.
I can tell you as much as when I defeated this creature some 30 years ago, it did vanish in a cloud of dust after I killed it, and then all that was left behind was its weapon and armor.
Did it also crawl out of a worm?
No, I don't know anything about worms or this worm. I've never seen anything like that before.
Well,
I guess now I'm not sure if it's actually dead since it vanished in like a little dust up after I thought I killed it, and now it showed up again and then dusted off again. So I
don't believe it's dead either.
I mean, obviously I didn't kill it if it just showed up here.
The thing is you said before that it dropped its weapons.
Well, no,
Well,
when I killed it, it was on the ground.
Right, before. The weapons were there, though. After it vaporized or
God, was
whatever.
it wearing its armor as well?
Are you the only one that actually saw it?
Oh, you said I
no,
see it.
when you came around, it was like, ah! No.
But it had weapons, or yes or no?
I said it had like a short sword, but there's just by looking around, there's no short sword.
Well, that's what I was going to get at is, well, it didn't, its weapon wasn't left behind this
Yeah,
time.
well, when I thought I killed it, and it, like I said, a dust storm picked up in the arena and took it away. All that was left behind was the weapons it was using and its armor. That was all that was left there.
Maybe it knows a better spell
Uh,
and lets it take it with them this time.
It was never magical.
Or
It back then, let's put it that way.
maybe it has something magical then.
Maybe. I have no idea. I don't know anything about magic.
I mean, I'm no
I don't know
mage.
anything about magic.
I only know what I witnessed in my profession of hunting criminals down. So, I mean, I have picked up quite a bit using them trying to get away from me, learning the tricks and stuff like that. But I'm by no means a genius when it comes to it.
All I can tell you is it was solid, it bled, and it died like everything else I fight. Or at least I thought so at that point.
Well, I can't tell you if it bleed. Oh wait, I did hit it once. Did I see anything come from it when I struck it?
It looked like it was wounded.
Okay. Well, it appeared to be wounded when I hit it, but like it was substantial. I mean, at first I started to
Perhaps
question.
Go ahead, Reggie.
Perhaps we should head back to the coastal road and see if we can make some more progress toward Notnef.
Oh yeah, we can talk along the way. That's fine. I'm gonna grab my donkey in the way out.
Is everyone ready for water?
So everyone who wants to can refill their water jugs or skins or whatever, and you all make your way down the creek back to the bridge. And as you continue to talk, you secure everything, and you cross the bridge, and you continue on your conversation on this nice day. Go ahead.
Apparently I have a donkey with a cart that I didn't realize I had to have, so I mentioned now. So if anybody needs to like store stuff so they don't have to carry it, you're more than welcome to use the cart to store it in, to make your journey easier.
Well, thank you very much. That'll come in handy maybe when we find any big items or bodies.
That don't disappear.
So I was worried that maybe what we had seen wasn't real, so that's what I was searching back there intently for.
Pause. Reggie. Roll a d30. All right, continue.
So I did see signs that there was something big there. Maybe it wasn't the worm, maybe it was a worm. And I had seen signs that that creature had come in. You know, I found tracks of it coming in to the water. Now, I don't know how it got inside of the worm, but it definitely walked its way into that water before it did whatever it did to get into the worm. So
perhaps it was getting some component or piece of anatomy out of the worm, or it planted something to disintegrate it.
I mean, all these are possibilities. I am no wizard like I said.
Yeah.
But,
It is perplexing indeed.
But what is
But
a
maybe
goblin
it has something to
hunting
do with the disappearance.
I agree. I mean, we've seen 2 worms now.
I only seen one.
Well, somebody, who was it? Was it your sire there that had seen the other one?
So he says.
So there's 2 of them.
He saw it, and I saw it through his eyes. It is a force of evil, and it is unnatural.
Well, perhaps these are what's responsible, though I would think that it would took more than just the village. I don't know. Well, not to get off. Open mind is better, not to predistinguish any hypothesis before we see the scene.
Yes, definitely. We have a lot of ideas, but we're going to need more proof. We may never see that again.
I would like everyone to notice how nice of a day this is.
It is beautiful.
The breeze blowing.
Can I check the weather?
If you would like. Do you have something
All right,
which would give you extra information other than your eyes?
Weather knowledge.
Okay.
One of my proficiencies.
Yep, sun's up.
All right. 30.
A 30. Well, let's see what kind of information weather knowledge will relay on a successful roll.
Is there a storm on the way? Is it going to be nice for 5 days?
If we really need some hardcore information, I can get deeper, but I have to do a little bit more rolling around in the dirt for that.
I don't see why we would. It looks nice.
A successful proficiency check means the character has correctly guessed the general weather conditions in the next 6 hours. I should roll that check secretly. A proficiency
my
check
bad.
can be made once every 6 hours. However, for every 6 hours of observation, the character gains a +1 bonus to his ability score as he watches the weather change or whatever. So, I will say that with your roll, your total of 30, that you think for the next 6 hours, which will take you right up till it's time to make camp, it should be smooth riding.
Sounds good to me.
Speaking of riding,
Yes,
I'm tired
Reggie.
of walking, and I'm going to mount my horse.
All right. So we got Reggie on a horse, and we got, I think, everyone else walking.
I'll take the lead if no one minds.
Okay. That seems like a good idea. So our travel order, and on this road you can go 2x2 or 3x3 comfortably.
We'll rise and probably walk next to
But
me.
we'll have the two foreigners up front. They, though
I
not
will fall to the rear of the group.
though not specifically said, it would only make sense that the two foreigners would have an accent to their southern tongue. And it would be an accent that no one here has heard before other than them. Whether you choose...
You're talking about the L.
What you choose to do with that information is up to you. Well, I mean, we got two elves in strange war gear with these big shields. And then I'm trying to remember. I have sheets here. Let me see.
Don't forget we're riding war elephants. I'm just kidding.
That
Can you imagine?
If
How do you get between the trees? How do you get between the trees? We knock them over.
is
yeah, it's like a tank.
I think there is not any reason to think that everyone's what they appear to be as far as race.
Oh, we've had our helmets off.
Should
We're
be
obviously
obvious.
I mean, we obviously don't look half elven. We look elven fully.
I've never had my
Purely.
hood removed from my face the entire time.
You're what?
My hood has never been removed from my head the entire time.
So we've never seen your face in the
You've
light
never
at all at
seen
any
my
point?
face.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Are you wearing a mask?
No. No, the hood's like
Heavy.
obviously designed.
So we might have seen your mouth, chin,
Yeah,
maybe.
you can
that
see
part.
like here and stuff,
Right.
but like this is about all you see is right here. It's obvious that it's hiding my looks.
So, I'm guessing, Pick, is it obvious what race you are?
Yes.
And remind us what that would appear to be.
I have 20 years. Very slim.
He's goblin.
So you have the slender, graceful features of a member of the elven species. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
But
And-
his own features look different than the two of us. I mean, the features are the same, but the colors are, like ours are very similar, but his is like a different.
With the clothes.
Well, that would make sense
Yeah.
because you're different ethnicities.
Right.
So,
I thought you meant you like your skin color was slightly off.
Well, yeah, it would be. Our hair, skin color. I mean, our ears are the same. Our eyes are the same.
well, just for flavor's sake,
I would say.
what would you like it to be as far as different? Now, what I would guess, but obviously you guys are in complete control of what you want to look like. I would guess that you wouldn't have the more Scandinavian look, you would look more Mediterranean as far as your skin
I would agree
color.
with that, but ultimately that would be Chris's decision because he created that. So I would let him.
Well, since he's
But
not
I like
here,
I like the Mediterranean feel.
we,
That sounds right.
we will just say that,
Okay.
and that'll be that. That's what you
That's
get
fine.
for not showing up.
I already gave shit over phony and not replied, so
Well, let's hope he didn't crash and die.
I'm sure that's not the case.
Okay. So, when I say the foreigners, I just want to try to put an oomph into that, so it's more obvious maybe than what I was describing or they were describing.
Yeah, when you call customer service, we're the ones on the other end from Scandinavia or Mediterranean. You know, we got that.
Hello, my
It'd
name
be
is
like
Bob.
Americans.
Well, maybe not Indonesian, but yeah, right.
It'd be like if Americans went to Russia. Sure, you're all kind of white people, but it's obvious who the Russians are and it's obvious who the foreigners are.
No, but that's okay. I will stick with what I said. Okay, so. Okay, so you carry on, and as much as the DM was suddenly hoping, does anyone do anything I need to be aware of the rest of the day until you decide to make camp? And hold on, we're going to start over here with Hovind.
Not unless something spurs us to stop or something. Somebody
Okay.
kind of lead. So.
And then we'll go to Pick.
That would be a negative.
Then we'll go Shadrach.
I look for any crows.
Then we go to Reggie.
I will play a tune.
Hey! That's what I was like, is he gonna play? All right.
Yeah, I'm sitting on horseback, moving slowly and picking my loot. Is the road still busy, Cop? You said there were other wagons and travelers and...
Right. As the day goes on, there is less frequency of passersby. So
Okay.
it would be, like it's really busy when you're coming down 141 to hit 44, but once you turn on 44 and you start
Sure.
coming west, people start going there. So, and you.
Would it be
Hold on. Go ahead.
disruptive if I actually played music?
Well, I mean, if you're wanting to give us a sample, then obviously not.
No, we can talk over the music. It'd be just like
I
real
don't know what. Tell me if you can hear this.
I will pause
Too quiet?
this. I can hear it.
That sounds good.
That's
Yeah, I can
good.
hear it. Is that annoying or too loud?
that's fine.
I think that's about right, actually.
Sounds
So
good to me.
Perfect.
remember that
So
setting.
that's me playing on my horseback.
Very good. And then anything that you want to accomplish on this.
So I'm gonna look around and see if there's any place I could, if this is the kind of area where I would find any of the herbs that I need to make my knockout.
Okay, so you're going to. Okay, so to search for anything, you can't like do that
I'm not
and
searching.
continue.
I'm just looking. Does this seem to be the area that stuff would be found in, or if it's not? If it is, then
Well, you never know what you're going to find.
but
It depends on how much effort you want to put into your task.
I was just trying to base off of my. This is kind of a wooded area, right? That we're traveling.
It is not heavy forest at all. There are
Okay.
occasional trees,
Okay, so it's
but
not
you
like
got to remember this is going up a coastal thing, so there are places where the trees are a little more dense than others, but there's varying topography.
Okay. I thought this was somewhat forced, like where we were in with the river and stuff and the trees up and stuff. No, so, no.
Okay. All right. So, Shadrach, you are looking for crows. Well, I know there's no proficiency for crow finding. So, do you have?
Well, I can actually,
Go ahead.
any bird within a certain range I can talk to right now. So I'll just cast the spell.
Well, I mean, if you want to specifically find a crow, we can try. But if you don't find a crow,
Okay, I'll use another bird.
okay. So roll me a luck roll, which is a level check on a D30.
So D30 plus what?
Plus your level.
14.
Okay. So unfortunately, you don't see any crows, but you do see a tiny yellow, black and yellow bird, and it seems to be sitting on a tree limb. And you do what?
I will whistle up to it to come to my hand, and I want to talk to it.
Okay. Is there something about a druid, either ability or spell, which could get you to have a wild animal trust you?
Speak to alien. If I can talk its language. Plus my charisma.
So if I remember right, druids, they can speak to animals or they can...
This is the spell. Speak to birds.
Hold on.
First level.
You might have something to help you with this. I just don't remember.
Well, I can speak to crows specifically because that's one of my animal languages I get per level.
Here we go.
But I can, but with this spell I can speak to any bird.
So you're going to cast a spell?
That's why I said, if I can't find a crow,
Okay.
I'm just going to cast speak with birds.
Okay. So what are the components of this spell?
Well, I mean, it's a druid spell. It targets any bird within 30 feet. So I'm not going to cast it if it's a bird far away.
No, I understand. I'm just trying to get you to role play out your spell cast. That's all. So what are the components? Like, is there...
What I would do, my character, to actually cast a spell like that, I would prick my thumb and just bleed a little bit and let it drop to the earth and say my oath to the earth gods and to the gods of the forest to let me speak with this bird. And I may know its wisdom.
Okay. So because of your role playing out your spell, you get a little bit of a bonus for this reaction to see if this bird says fuck you or if it wants to hump your ear. So, make me a charisma check with a +2. So you're adding your D20 to your charisma, and then you're adding 2 points to that.
What about my charisma bonus?
That's usually for first meeting someone, but I've found that a streamlined edit to these second edition rules is just make a charisma check, and it's way easier than having to fucking know all that other shit. So
my charisma plus D20 plus 2, what you said, right?
Correct.
Okay.
D20 plus your charisma, Jason.
35.
All right. So
you roll
cast
20?
you cast the spell like you said. Did you roll a nat? No, you didn't roll a natural 20, did you?
No.
Okay. All right. So
He's a good-looking hermit.
the bird's attention is drawn to you, and its two little beady eyes on the side of its head are blinking. And as you hold your thumb out with the drop of blood that falls, it flies over and lands right on your hand.
Do I speak now? Okay.
You can do whatever you want.
I'll ask. Okay, I'll ask it. Are there any dangerous animals around?
So can it speak back?
Yeah, I mean it's like it's like speak a language. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not probably actual words, but the birds chirp.
Yeah, they understand what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm basically whistling to this little bird in my hand.
Yes.
That's what you would see.
Daryl is correct. That's what's going on here. So the bird does this little thing with its foot, taps on your hand like that, and then kind of pecks at your thumb and then looks up and whistles. And what you decipher that to mean in bird speak is everything is out to get you at all times. Only you or my nest mates are safe.
Repeat that, please. I didn't hear that.
Everything is out to get you at all times. Only you or my nest mates are safe.
I thank it for its wisdom and let it go if it wants to go.
No man, you got a fucking 35. It's hanging out on your hand.
All right.
What's your duration? Yeah.
I'll ask it then, since it's staying with me. Are there any large animals around? Any bears or lions or wolves?
It kind of takes its wings and goes like that, and then it pulls them back in, and it looks up at you and goes, and you understand that to mean wolf packs in the night.
All right, well, I'll bid it return to its nest in safety and thank it again. And if it wishes to follow along, then it's welcome to. But I'm thinking of its safety.
It turns, and before it hops off your hand, it looks back over its winged shoulder and goes clink, and then flies off.
Come nightfall, we best a good watch. There are wolves in these woods.
I hate wolves.
That's awesome. That you're able to. Were you communicating with that bird?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I can talk to your horse if I wanted to.
Yeah, he seems to like you.
Most animals, I'm likable to animals. Maybe I smell bad, I don't know. I haven't had any dogs roll in me yet, so I guess I'm okay.
You did have a bath at the end.
This is true. I mean, I can cleanse it myself. But I mean, as long as I don't smell bad, I'm okay.
Did you travel from the north to Tila?
There's a forested area north of here, and I came from there. I was driven out of there, basically. I came down to the south seeking shelter, and hopefully they didn't follow me. And I see that I'm in the company of a man catcher, so I think I've made a mistake.
Oh, you think he's after you? He tried to arrest me.
That's his job. People like him hunted me before.
Well, he might be a good ally to have around.
My suspicion is warranted to a certain degree.
Now, just so we're clear, I would think that anyone that's traveling can hear this conversation. Would you agree, gentlemen? Okay.
I'm not being secretive at all.
Okay.
I'm speaking clearly.
So.
Yeah, Shad is very straightforward when he speaks.
So, Tamark, yes, you do hear that.
So why would I be hunting you?
You're a manhunter. You hunt men. You have a wagon to carry their bodies in. You hide your face.
Their
Why do you hide
bodies.
your face?
So I pull back my hood, and you see that there are several claw marks going across my face, and I pull my hood back, and you
Red claw
see
marks or scars?
they're scars. They're like claw, like from maybe
Just so you
like.
know, they can't see you right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I pull my hood
These are
back.
old scars, right?
Yeah, these are old scars. So I have several
Okay.
like scars from claw marks going across my face, and then I pull my hood back farther, and you can see what would be like maybe 2 big bite marks that were at my throat. And I was like,
Yikes.
this is why I hate wolves.
Did you win that battle?
My heart.
And I pull my hood back over
I
my
bet
You'll be
head.
alive.
So, when you said you pulled your hood, was it to expose your entire face?
Yeah, I literally pulled
Okay.
it all the way
And then,
back.
so what?
And then I pulled it back like this so they could see the
what
bite
race
marks.
do you appear to be?
So I'm definitely human. I might have a little peach fuzz on my face at this point.
You appear to be young.
Yeah, late teens. I have no beard, short black hair, you know, the skull marks. I appear to be clean. So, you know, you can tell my clothes are clean and kept.
Okay,
I knew a
so
man once who could have made your scars go away. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
And as far as hunting men, I bring my men in alive so they can seek justice.
So you're a lawman?
Sometimes.
Bounty hunter?
I've been called that before. I
Manhunter.
had an outlaw kill my father, and I sawed him out until I brought him to justice. And for doing so, they employ me from time to time.
while you guys are having this role-playing session, I'm going to go feed my son. So
But,
please carry on.
I only bring in contracted people. So,
Who do you work for? You said that.
Sometimes it's independent
I'm
people.
still here.
Sometimes it's the local magistrate. I mean,
Kmart, did you know the man who hired us before yesterday?
no, but I'm not famous, but I am somewhat known for being what I am. A seeker of.
Did any of you know the man that hired us?
First time I met him.
I've
Never
seen-
saw him. Right.
Not that I'm aware of.
You're from Tila, right? You got a business there? You've not seen him?
I know most of the business owners. I'd never seen him before.
Maybe he's new to town. I've been in Tila for a little while. I've been working on the Myriad, a ship off the coast. I'm heading back to Czechs eventually to go home. But I've been staying in Tila for a little while, off and on.
I was there for 2 days.
I've never really been down here a whole lot. Maybe once or twice. I usually stay up towards the northern part of this area. Forest. I mean, I've hunted people in the forest. You know, it just depends. I mean, currently, I have a brother and a sister who disappeared on me, so I've been kind of trying to keep an eye on them. So while I was hunting my father's killer, they kind of disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to them. So I've been keeping an eye out and traveling around kind of for that, but that's about it.
Yeah. Hope the Glen keeps them safe. until you find them.
You know the wooden.
Where are you from? Did you come in on a boat, or are you from the forest too?
Me?
COVID.
Oh.
COVIDius.
Rise and I have been, we've been hanging out in the woods up to the far north. This is my second time down here, but I never really, it's been almost a year since I've been down here. I haven't really hung out down here. You'll have to excuse me, but I can't play with an accent, so I don't know how to bring an accent into this. You could say we're warriors of the same clan. He's higher than I am, so I follow
That's
him.
okay. Yeah.
He has earned my allegiance.
So what drove you from, what drove you from your forest?
Talk to me.
To,
Oh, the druid.
yeah, the Druid.
We had a very large group there. We were getting ready to go out and help the surrounding countryside, to help them with their crops, and people came in the night and killed almost all of us. I ran away. Others ran away. I've been trying to find some of them. And then later on, I was captured by some witches. And then the people who came for me before came for them, and I ran away again. And then finally, after roaming around the woods, I came out and went to the city. I figured it was time to come out.
I guess you lost them in the city.
Nobody's followed me so far, but
Scary.
I'm hard to follow.
Well, I will have to keep
Growing
an
up,
eye
I
out
covered
for,
this whole area with my family and never had a problem.
That's good. I traveled as a young boy in a traveling show.
That's
My
what
mother and father were performers.
my parents were entertainers as well.
Oh, wow. How coincidental. Did they travel with the pagan festivals?
No, they had their own troupe that they traveled around with. Needless to say, I did not have the same skills my parents had.
My dad taught me how to walk a tightrope.
Really?
I can balance on a rail, man. It helped me out when I was working on the ship, running the riggings.
The ocean does not agree with my stomach, I must say, admit.
And my mother taught me the lute.
Well,
May the blend
big
will
family,
choose both their souls.
there's like a big family there with the entertainers, so
It is.
everybody learned a little bit of skills from maybe this people or from that person. They would help each other out, teach each other things.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It was just like a small little town that just moved along.
That's right. It was a very good way to grow up. And then after my father passed, we moved, my mother and I settled in Czechs. That's where I lived until she passed away. Hit the ocean after that.
My parents actually still travel.
That's fantastic. I hope that we get a chance to see them. What sort of performance do they do?
Both of my parents are actors and singers.
Oh, very nice.
Like I said, I got to the point where I needed a little bit of city life, and I was taught a few skills, and I opened up a nice little shop. I'd like to have a little bit more business than I get.
Maybe we can drum some up.
Well,
I've been known to pick a lock or two in my time. I mean, fix a lock or two. Yes.
I completely understand.
Maybe we can work together.
Sounds good. I got a nice little thing going on there. The armor, they help me with some of the little smaller things that I need, crafting things, and I mean, people that they like the locks that I make for them.
Very good. I can test them out for you.
That sounds like a great idea.
We can work on a lock that can't be picked. That would make it look mint, wouldn't it?
That would be amazing.
Print your own money. We could ask Rise what he's up to, but you know.
Locks, clocks.
And lots of socks.
Anything with little mechanical workings, I like to play with.
Oh, an inventor.
Well, maybe not so much an inventor, maybe a person who likes to take them apart to see how they work.
A tinker.
That tinker, yes, that would be better.
Hey man, it's interesting to find out how things work.
It is.
I'm quite impressed with the stonework in this road. It sure makes it easier riding for the wagons and such. And I tell you, I'm really impressed with the city of Tila having running water in some of the homes and businesses. That is a definite convenience that I could get used to. Instead of shitting in a bucket.
Very nice.
Yeah, if only
I hope
every,
That's got trees in your city.
What do trees do?
There's not enough trees in the city.
Nah, I guess that's true. So,
Trees keep the air fresh.
oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was pretty neat that you could communicate with that bird. That made me laugh, man. That made me smile.
Well, I'm glad you smiled. I didn't intend for it to be offensive.
You gleaned that there were wolves in the area. That's very useful information.
I asked it of dangerous animals in the area, and that's what it told me. It also said that we should be very watchful.
Yeah, set up
All of it.
guard when we make camp for sure.
We should be extra. We should be extra vigilant. That's the nature of what I understood. So it is a timid creature, I must admit.
Alrighty. So not knowing what you all talked about, eventually the sun sets and you guys can push on into darkness, or you can make camp, or you can go jump in a lake.
how long does it?
It would be nice to make it to Notnef before we make camp. Is that possible, Prob? I'm judging the distance and seeing how far we got. 10 miles, he said it was.
You think
10 miles
you
maybe.
think you'd be close. You know that the detour probably caused you to not be able to make it.
The less amount of worms we run into, the better chance.
So what do you guys decide to do once the darkness falls?
How long past darkness do we think we have to make?
I don't know. How long do you? It's
Before, when the sun's setting, we should decide to set up camp
I think we should camp.
before dark.
unless one of you
Sundown.
Yeah.
has been here before, or you have some ability which could give you the exact distance that you've traveled. There's really nothing I can tell you other than it could be right around the corner, or it could be further away. No, medieval maps are notorious for not having satellite imagery. So
Here's what I worry about.
Yeah, I don't have any idea.
If there's other
Any
worms,
crows around?
hold on, let Dan go.
if there's any of those worms around, us camping in the open would be highly dangerous.
No, we look for a secure place before it gets dark. We don't wait till it gets dark.
Well, no, that's what I'm
Find somewhere
saying. I
it looks
don't think there is a secure place other than a building.
Oh, rock outcropping. I don't know. I mean,
We
you think a building
have
would stop
waited
something the
till
size of that worm?
already, and
I mean, if it's-
time to just.
Hold on, Reggie. Sean, hold on, Reggie. Go ahead, COVID.
Do you think a building would stop a creature like that if it's wanting to tear? I mean, that thing was huge. It'd go right through a building. How would we be safer? If anything, I'd rather be out in the open. We'll hear it coming.
I
coming.
don't think it would know we're in the building.
Well, I don't think there's worms out here hunting people, to be honest with you. I've traveled, not down this particular road, but I've traveled through this area. We traveled through this area coming down here not that long ago. I've never seen a worm like that.
I've traveled through this.
I've never seen a worm before, so
I've never seen.
What are the chances we're going to run into another one? I think that was the only time we'll ever see one of those.
I don't know. We've seen two.
I only seen one. And you've seen two this size?
I will not stay inside the building. Not out here.
I think it's
Rise says,
no.
I saw that worm, but it was a lot smaller in the city.
I don't consider that two worms in the same category then. I'm not either way. I'm not concerned with either of them.
All right, so
Bring it on.
we're gonna pack up and make camp somewhere.
Somewhere that looks sufficient. I start looking for something that
So
looks,
is this plain still?
just a little bit
Rise
more.
says, I'm not in charge, but I'll do as everyone else suggests.
So what is the topography of the area that we're at? Is it plains? Is it?
It's
Some
light forest with rolling grasslands.
All right.
Can
So
we see the ocean? Is it that close to the coast?
If you are at the top of a hill and the weather's just
Okay.
right, yes.
can you point
Okay.
on the
Do that.
map generally where we're at with the area?
Well, we were on the very tip. Remember, all the way down.
Here's the
bottom.
city of Tila right here, and
Right.
you guys are going this way. So
Okay, so we're
Somewhere.
you're kind of like
couple
going,
inches.
just kind of like going, that's it. You're not
Okay.
taking the huge road west or east.
Okay.
So
all right. I just didn't know how big the map scale really was.
the map is, I think it's an inch is
30,000 kilometers.
Oh, okay, there.
you can travel.
I couldn't see that before, so.
Well, we don't have a map, so it don't matter.
You can walk almost 1 inch a day in scale.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right. Oh, good.
If you were at there and you're about you'd have to zoom way in.
No, that's fine. I was just kind of curious at, like.
It's about a day's walk.
The area. No. I was kind of curious because he showed us a map back at the place.
And
So
it's
I
about
was
a day's
just
walk.
curious what the
Provided we
surrounding
don't
land
stop
and how
and-
far, it is.
It's got to be close, but nonetheless.
All right, so, well, I have survival abilities.
I say we go
in the
camp
forest
under one of them
area.
big trees over under that light
So
forest.
I can look around here and try to find us a good spot.
I think under those trees over there by that light forest is our best spot. We're not out in the open.
There are certainly trees and sometimes copse of trees, which is like a clumping of them in places. If you wanted to look around for something that seemed more defensible to your paranoia, you certainly may do that. Or not. And anyone
Dave
else?
Murphy, you're a man of the woods. If you have the skills to find a secure place, I follow your lead.
So if you guys are
I'm open to your suggestion.
If you guys are going to plan on making camp, then as DM I would say, okay, so as this decision is made, what would each of you do to facilitate that? I mean, we could certainly say, well, you just make camp, but to me, I would like to try to bring out your skills, if you know what I mean. So we'll just start, and we'll start over here again. So, COVID, is there anything that you want to do at this time?
We should use the trees for cover, but we should also try to find a low-lying area, like we're in general rolling hills. So we find a dip in there, so we have a fire. It's not noticeable from distance.
Anybody else? Pick any general thing from you?
I'd look around for some little dry leaves that won't smoke, or dry wood that won't smoke so much to help conceal fire.
Shadrach.
I'm going to ask Tamark, do me a favor, friend. Keep a lookout for fox prints and tell me if you see any. And if you see a fox, tell me as soon as you do.
Okay.
Reggie. Anything from you in particular, Reggie, or?
Yeah, I volunteer to take first watch for the evening. I'm gonna take the saddle off of my horse and find myself a tree to lean it against. I'm gonna kind of use that when I'm ready to sleep for the evening. I'll just lean against that, cover with my cloak. Like I said, I volunteered to take first watch, and I guess I'll do more as far as removing my armor and getting to sleep and all that.
Okay,
That time.
that's fine. Okay, Tamar.
I will use my 4 survival skill to seek out a defensible area, such as he's stated.
All right. Roll your proficiency check, please.
So that is a 23.
23. All right. So you all are kind of stopped, and you're kind of hanging around there right off the road. Tamar decides he is going to go and try to find maybe get lucky and find a good spot. And according to his roll and his knowledge, he has found a good set of trees in a low-lying area. It happens to have like somebody has already been here. There's a place that's been used for fires before. So it's kind of already got like some rocks that are larger than average that somehow ended up here, and you find as he finds this and comes back and tells everyone he's found a good spot to make camp, when you all get down there you can see that there's remnants of other travelers, pieces of rope or straps of leather that look like they've been cut. Someone finds a rusty stirrup from a long ago saddle. So things of that nature that give away that someone else has also used this. If someone wants to do a further investigation of this area or anything specifically, you would have to tell the dungeon master. Otherwise, you all go about just setting up a campsite. And unless someone has any ability or spell they wish to cast that would help with that, then you just go about your manual. If you have a tent, you set it up. And if you want to do what Reggie said he was going to do, COVID, you might have something you want to add?
Yeah. How's everyone on food? I can go and see if there's anything worth hunting out here. Obviously not a fox.
I only have rations.
We don't need to hunt anything tonight, I don't think. I can provide food for all of us if we need it. Don't hunt anything. I don't think that's a good omen.
Okay.
But if you're hungry for it, I won't stop you.
As long as we have food, that's what's important.
Rise says, meh. So
What? You
So I
said
do
you
not
can
hunt.
provide food. Are you going to gather berries or fruits or?
I can provide food for everyone. I can feed, or if nothing else, I can feed myself. I will not eat anything that you kill.
I think what Reginald was asking,
I'm just curious what you're talking about. Provide. I have some rations, some dried meat and fruit, but if I don't have to eat it, I would rather eat fresh for sure.
I can make your fruit fresh as the day it was picked.
A
Well, it's
small
dry,
plant's only
but-
as big for one, right?
Pardon me?
You said you can provide food instead of making ours fresh. What else can you make, or how do you provide it?
Just hold on.
I created.
Okay, I thought you were just gonna go and gather berries and such.
I will do that.
Well, please make us a feast. I look forward to seeing what you can do.
I'll keep all of it. I will. All right. On that note, I will sit down and begin my ritual to create food and water.
Okay, and what are the components of that?
And I'm going to bleed once again, but this time I cut my palm and then just squeeze it into the dirt and hold my hand up to the sky and call upon the spirits of the forest to bring us all provender, that we may have full bellies and clear throats.
And what happens when you cast your spell?
I create a big pile of food. Well, not really a big pile, but it's based on my level, so...
Please tell us, O great druid, what bounty dost thou provide?
Well, let me make sure here. Lots of nuts and berries. Well, it's a vegan feast.
I'm alright with that.
Yeah, that'll do for tonight.
It's all...
That's gonna save you time of going out and hunting, and maybe without having a fresh kill in the area, we won't draw the wolves in.
Well, consider this just my gift for the evening, and let's not... Don't think it's going to happen all the time.
Well, thank you very much, Shadrach.
Yep, thank you.
So basically, I created water and provided good berries and fresh fruit.
Okay, there you go. And the druid does as he described. He once again bleeds for skill, using his life energy to create food for you all. And it is good.
The blood is the life.
So saith the Lord.
I eat some. I take a few pieces and give it to my dog. I let my...
And if they hesitate, I'll just start eating.
Oh, I don't hesitate. I eat it. I believe you.
Okay, so the food is had. The bellies are, either I wasn't listening or I don't remember how much food you created, but I'm assuming enough is had for all.
I hope so.
All
Yeah,
six
it
people?
wasn't like a huge pile. It's enough for everybody in the group.
Okay. And then whatever things you do before you lay down, which ones of you have a tent or shelter? We got Tamark has something, COVID and Rise have something.
I don't know what Chris has, but yeah, I have a small tent, which I think the multi people.
Does Reggie?
I have no tent of any kind. As I said, I put my saddle and my gear against a tree and throw my cloak down there.
Okay. Pick
I do not.
and Shadrach.
I just use my buffalo robe and use spells to stay warm if I have to.
Well, it does get a little cooler at night, but not like a desert where it's hot and then it drops 40 degrees. So, does anyone do anything before they go to bed aside from getting ready for bed and doing the routine shit like sharpening your weapons or sewing or trying to fix something, all that shit? Anybody at all? Well, Tamar, you're going to do something.
I'll check.
Hold on, Shadrach. I'm sorry. Tamar, first.
I was gonna try to search with herbalism to find the stuff that I need to make
Okay.
my knockout poison.
Well, let's roll that herbalism right now.
18.
Okay, so roll a d10.
9.
Okay, so you're out there for a while, a little bit longer than 9 minutes, but you're pretty sure that nothing's in the immediate area that you can use for whatever it is you're trying to do.
Is a small tent just big enough for one person?
I think it will hold 2.
2. So if somebody would like to share my tent, there's room for another person in my tent. Anybody?
Thanks, Kmart, but the weather's beautiful. I think I'm just gonna sleep under the stars tonight.
Okay.
Rise and I are
If
good.
it rains, though, I might be pushing. I might be knocking.
Okay, so apparently, Tamark, you don't have any takers on your generous offer. Now we move over to Reggie. You had your hand up. Was there something else besides what you said that you wanted to do?
Yes. And when I'm on my watch,
Okay, well we'll
I
get.
will
Hold
cross
on.
my horse.
Oh, we'll get to that. Because right now we're getting where everyone's going to bed. Shadrach, did you have something?
Check the weather one more time.
Roll.
That's you roll, remember?
It's gonna be a nice night.
You go ahead.
Oh, okay. Is what you said was a D20 then?
Yeah, plus your proficiency score.
Natural 20, 37.
Explode. Roll again.
What does that mean?
Roll again.
10 plus my say 27.
Okay. So, with your explosion,
I'm tired.
you are
It's a wind.
very sure as you look about the sky and the leaves that blow, the trees tell a story of calm breeze, gentle winds, and the sky, the wispy clouds that go by, occasionally suffusing the starlight, reveal that the night will be clear and calm and beautiful sleeping weather for you and your little black and yellow friend. And anyone else? Hearing nothing, we now move to everyone is asleep.
Except ask for watches because we never. Because he said he was going to do first watch, and we never went any further with that. Could you cover that before we?
That's up to your characters to cover.
Well, I mean, I want to. I
And
know you were gonna
COVID
ask what-
before everyone goes to sleep says.
I mean, I could take second or third watch, or I can take first watch with you if you want to have 2 per watch. What do the rest of you suggest?
I can take third watch.
I get 2 per watch. The bird said we should be very wary.
I'll take
2 per watch would be.
I can take
I'll
first.
take first watch with Reginald.
Okay. I'll take third watch.
Rice says he'll take second.
I'll stay with Rice.
I'll do whichever one you need me to do.
Probably third would work with Tim Mark.
Yeah. All right, I will wake up Shadrach and Rise when we are finished.
Yeah, so I will leave my armor on until after our watch is over, and then I will take my armor off to sleep.
I'm
All
still
right.
here.
So, during the first watch, Reggie, you said that you wanted to do something.
Yeah, I'm going to brush out my horse and make sure that he's finding some good grass to munch on.
Just some routine jam.
Yep, man.
Okay?
Yeah. I'm curious, did anybody, I saw Pick gathering some wood. Did he actually build a fire?
I can build the fire. That's not an issue. I have fire builder. I have the tools necessary, and I will do
Well,
so.
hold on. I hate to be a douchebag, but we've already passed that point. Everyone's asleep. You're the only one that's awake.
No, me and him.
Oh, are you together?
Yes.
Okay.
We said, did you hear?
No, I didn't hear, but that's okay.
Second
That's-
watch
that's
is
fine.
Rise and
Okay.
our Druid, I believe.
Okay.
And then our third watch is Tamark
Okay.
and Beck.
So during the watch, you're doing the horse and whatever, and then you kind of walk back over and you ask COVID, or you just say,
Yeah,
out loud, whatever.
other than that, I'm just staying vigilant, kind of walking around the camp to keep myself awake. I'm not gonna lay down or nothing.
Okay, and then
We can make it part of our camping rituals. I always start the fire, and it's not an issue, unless I'm not there.
well, you were
You know
watching
how
with
to
him,
start a
so
fire?
you can-
That's right.
Yeah, I have the
Better
tools and
way.
I have the ability, so I will start a fire. Do you want me to roll that?
no, this is not a what do you call it? A tough situation.
Okay. Well, I have a flint and steel and I
So,
have fire
yeah,
building,
so
so I start a fire with the
you,
wood that Pitt gathered.
And there you go. So, do any of you have any? Okay. So, does anyone have survival other than you?
I believe Tamar.
Nope.
Not I.
Okay.
I don't know the curses.
So, I need you to roll a survival check, but you're only getting this because you have it, but you're asleep. So you need to roll super high.
Don't forget my scope of things.
It-
I'm just saying.
Tamar picked a good camping spot, didn't he?
Yeah. Under a tree and a slight dip in the hills. Yep. It's more than sufficient.
So 15 and 18.
It's beautiful countryside. I like it out here by the
33.
coast.
So
It is.
33 is what I got.
Okay.
Definitely is, Reginald.
All right. So the first watch goes by. Apparently nothing happening. And who's on the second watch?
I give
wait.
Shadrach a nudge.
I nudge.
Hey, buddy,
Bryce.
I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Hey, your turn, buddy.
A good night to rest.
Are you awake? All right. COVID built a fire. Feels pretty good. Starting to cool down a little.
Okay,
Oh,
let
all
me
right.
remind
So I
you.
settle in.
Hold on, pause. Let me remind the spellcasters. You need uninterrupted sleep, or at least you need to have enough sleep to be able to regain your spells. That's just the standard operating procedure. So, if you take a watch, you will then need to sleep later in the day or in the morning before you can pray and regain anything. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I don't have to sleep next. Yeah, it's not a very long period of time, so I'll be all right.
Well, it's a full night's rest, so just be prepared for whenever I say, well, you're kind of fucking tired. You were up for 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the night. So,
I mean, I covered it by prayer. I had to have a certain amount of prayer time.
you need to have a full night's rest if you're a spellcaster. That's just the rules, and I like it. So, you can deal with it
All
however
right,
you
no,
want.
I'm not complaining.
Okay. Question.
Yes, could you maybe make a roll for Rise? He would probably suggest that it's not a problem for him to take second watch on his own, because he's just that kind of guy that would say that kind of stuff regardless of the situation.
And he does that.
Okay.
Okay. So you're even though Jason, you didn't know that, it's kind of like Sean isn't a fucking master swordsman, but we let him play one. You are a druid. You understand you need a full night's rest, so we'll just...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm cool. No, I'm
All
not
right.
complaining.
I know.
No.
Why do you think I'm not a master swordsman? We've never discussed that.
That's true. I don't
have
really
a
know
collection-
if he is or
I
not.
have a collection of swords, and I do know how to use
You're a master sword
I'm not a master
collector.
swordsman, though.
You're a master sword collector.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I'll give you that.
the second watch.
I
Well,
wouldn't
I would
complain
like
about
Pitt
master.
to roll me a D12.
We got the roll on our first watch.
Of course, there was 2 of you. So
I forgot to mention. Oh, Rise knows. There's an
Pick, are you there?
You wake me up immediately.
Yep. Trying to find it. 4.
Okay. All right. I need you to roll your survival again.
Oh, that's even better.
Yep.
36.
Okay. So you are, you kind of like roll over because you hear the changing of the guard from the first to the second watch. Not unusual, but out of the corner of your eye, you notice that there is a shadow on your tent. And at first you're like, what the fuck? But then you realize that they have a fire in the middle of the night in a place, and you with your survival understand that all that does is give away your position, and if something was out to get you, it could go right to it. Whether you choose to act on that information or not is up to you.
So I'm gonna get
No matter how cold it is, if it's so cold out that you have to have a fire, then you've done something wrong to get to that point.
Right.
When you travel anywhere at night, you know that you just got to have enough. And if you have a blanket on, no matter how cold it gets, you're pretty good. Okay. This is what I've been told by actual people or videos of people that actually are like outdoors. If you got a good bedroll or what we call a sleeping bag, it can be fucking 0 degrees out and you're warm. So I've never done it, so I'm just taking their word for
No,
it.
they're right.
Okay.
Armored sleeping bags will you can be covered in snow in an armored sleeping bag and be completely comfortable.
So anyway, I'm just trying to make a more realistic use of your knowledge
Right. No.
in this. That's all. So I'm not trying to fuck the guys that make the. Obviously, they don't know because they don't have survival, but you do. All right. So anyway, that information was given to you. You can do with it what you want. Meanwhile, Rise is now on.
I'm gonna get up and suggest we put the fire out. And I thought there was people maneuvering around. And
I woke up inspired. I'm like, oh, that's not a good thing.
Okay, so
But I'm not smoking a bear.
make a straight charisma check and let's see what kind of response Rise gives you.
13 total.
He's like, fuck you, I want to fire. There.
I tell Rice that it's not a good idea, but I'm not gonna, if he wants to, I'm not gonna argue with him about it.
Rise doesn't seem
But I'm
to be
telling
in
him it's not a good.
There's something about the guy poking his head out the tent and going, that's not a good idea, that set Rise off. So whenever you say, oh yeah, I'm feeling good, but that's not a good idea, he glares at you. And it's just like...
I'll do the, guess I'll die.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And...
So, I go back to sleep, but I'm kind of unnerved and more on the light sleep side, I guess.
All right. And is that it for watches, or was there going to be a third
There
one?
was a third
The third
watch.
was-
And who's on the third one?
Me and Pike. Or Pike.
Pick.
You and Pitt.
I
All right.
call him Pike for some reason.
Okay. So Rise wakes you up and he's like, hey, Frady Cat, your turn.
Oh my god.
I put my armor on.
Okay. Okay, and then he goes over to Pick and... Where are you sleeping, Pick?
Pick!
Maybe he's actually sleeping in his chair.
Randy!
Did you see last week?
All right.
From where the
Did you
fire
see last
was.
week? His wife jiggled the chair because he was.
I did not see that.
His chair was wiggling all of a sudden he woke.
You're sleeping by the fire?
About 20 feet away from it.
Okay. So, yeah, you're awakened, and
After I think
There you go.
Rises went out, or went to sleep, I put the fire out.
okay. All right, and roll a d30. Don't roll a 1.
24!
All right. By whatever means you choose, you put the fire out. Okay. And Shadrach, roll me a d12.
Like a fire hydrant.
Well,
Sometimes.
12.
All right. So, as the morning sun starts to crest the low hills on the western side of Saskatchewan, the cool, crisp air greets some of you more than others. Those of you that have shelter are not as chilled. Pick, you look around and you see Rise and COVID coming out of their tent, and you think, man, that'd be nice to have.
There's an insignia on the side of our tent, by the way, which...
Go ahead.
We'll get you pictures later. I haven't decided yet, but...
What do you imagine it looks like? An eagle?
It's not fully my decision, so we'll get you pictures in the future.
Oh.
There's the same symbol that's on the armor. This is part of it. I gotta give it to Chris. He created it, so I gotta let him make that.
Alright.
But I will tell you that from Lord of the Rings, do you remember
Movie of the book.
the movie, because it's a visual, okay? Here, take a look at this. Look, you see that? You remember who they are? You can make it wider, really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's our Elven Banded Male, more or less. Okay? That would almost be like me and Chris, because Chris has got the thing on this helmet. I'll send it over to you.
Okay.
But that's more the, and it gives you that Mediterranean look as well, which is perfect. And I guess Cobb will put them up somewhere so they're visible to everybody.
All right. So the day is yours, gentlemen, to do with whatever it is you wish. Would someone like to
The morning ritual.
start something? What is your morning ritual? Anything more than just getting ready to travel?
I want to go over, take care of my donkey, make sure he's in good health.
Right.
Nothing's gotten to him. I pet my war dog and, check him over pretty good and stuff, feed him, give him some water. And I'm going to kind of scout the area a little bit, see if I can see anything, anywhere around. So, go up to the top of the...
Make me a perception check.
Look around. I don't have perceptions.
A D30 plus your intelligence.
28.
All right. As you climb a nearby hill and look around, you don't see anything unusual in the distance. All right. Anybody else want to go? Anything? COVID, go ahead.
Since I had first watch, whenever I'll take first watch, I'll sharpen my swords if needed at that point. Do armor maintenance, weapon maintenance. If not, I would do it first thing in the morning if I didn't have watch. I always pray to Nemesis the night before I go to bed, right before I go to bed. And I do the same thing when I wake up in the morning. That's part of my morning and evening rituals. And I always try to clean myself up, either from my water skin or from near my water source if there is one. I always try to stay clean. My armor, I do maintenance, but I don't make it pristine looking, where Rise does try to make his look pristine.
Okay. Anybody else? Obviously, Shadrach, you
do
would...
my own-
Hold on. Shadrach, you would obviously do your prayers to regain your mana.
Yeah,
do you
I
do
third
that?
watch all the time because I need to be up when the sun comes up.
Do you do this in seclusion? Do you do it in the open? Is it give just a brief description of like how ebullient do you want your piety to be?
The other members of the group would see me praising the four winds, north, south, east, and west, praising the sun, praising the forest, and I would of course bleed. It's part of the ritual. And when I bleed this time, I basically I pull like a thorn through my earlobe and bleed from my earlobe. I find like a thorn or a sharp stick and I make my earlobe bleed.
Nice.
Every morning.
Okay. How many 10 minutes do you need to pray to recover your spell levels?
As my calculation is about 45 minutes.
Okay. So
I'll take an hour.
You guys can do with
I'll
that.
ask the group if do my supplications for an hour.
Is that necessary? I'm not familiar with what you're doing.
I'm refreshing my mana from the earth.
So
That's how I see and speak to animals
is that
and see things.
is that
Without
considered,
I must refresh my relationship with the earth.
is that considered necessary?
For me, it is necessary.
Okay.
For you, it is not.
I don't have a problem with it. I will take watch until we're ready to leave.
All right.
I think
Which would be on a little high rise of the hill somewhere in the vicinity around us, to where I've got a good view, and I just keep an eye out on everything.
Make me a perception check.
Observation or perception? Just checking. I finally have it, so.
Oh, after the last game. It's like,
Well,
oh,
it's-
yeah.
Go ahead
It's
and
They suggested for his character.
for this particular one, go ahead and go observation.
So that's 40 intelligence, correct?
That's a D30 plus your
I mean,
intelligence.
40. Yeah, that's what I meant. 31.
Well, that's a success. If there was something to be seen, you probably would have seen it.
Okay.
But apparently the weather is great and the surroundings are calm and peaceful. How about you, Reggie? Anything in the morning that we'll just state today and then we'll know going forward?
I will put my saddle back on my horse and get him all ready to go. And in these circumstances, I left my armor on, my leather armor. But in other circumstances, I would, at this time, I would put my armor on. But I didn't take it off this time because of the dangerous conditions.
Make me a Constitution check,
But
please.
nothing. I'm adding my Constitution to the D20.
You
that
are?
gives me a 25.
Okay. Unless something changes, anything physical is at a -1.
Okay.
That is to simulate the sleeping in armor condition.
The discomfort.
Okay, anything, but as far as you're getting ready to travel, which I understand, but any personal routines that you might do? Or none? You tell me.
No.
Nothing?
Other than just adjusting my clothes and my armor. And
Okay.
making sure everything fits right.
Very good.
Stretch out a little bit.
Last but not least, pick. Anything that you might do on a personal nature in the mornings.
Just straighten up my bedroll, get everything tidied up, and sit down and look around and wait for everybody else to get done.
So nothing. Okay, very good. Oh, yes?
So while he's doing that, I'm gonna
While
try-
he's, which he?
Them.
There's 3 of them.
Druid.
Come on, what's his name?
Lavender.
Shagrat.
Close enough.
Oh, Shagrat.
What's he? What about him?
So while he's doing his supplications, I'm gonna go out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked this up now.
I'm gonna go out and try looking for herbs again, since I have time to kill.
Supplications?
Okay. Roll. But this time, you've already failed at that task here. So this time, you can try this again with a -5.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's definitely worse.
Okay. And the reason it's a -5 is that's to stop people from just constantly, everyone trying the same thing until the
Oh no,
dice
that's
gives it a
fine. It's just we had
I
time
know.
to kill.
I understand. There's no harm in trying. I'm just saying that's to simulate the realism.
So that was 4.
Okay, so that happened. Okay,
I come back. I hook my donkey.
You
up
get
the
ready to
cart
go.
and everything.
all right. You guys are on your way again, on the road again.
Just can't wait to get shot by an arrow on the road again.
Okay.
Should ride behind pick.
By the road again.
As you go around a curve and across the hills, you get a wonderful view of a little village, a little pristine village next to a creek with a mill and several houses. A most wonderful, quaint village, and a sign pointing down towards it that says Notnef.
It's not that.
Hey, there it is.
For those of you who can't read.
We were close.
Obviously.
Are there any vultures in the sky?
Make me an observation check, please. D30.
D20?
D30 plus your intelligence.
Oh,
Obviously, we don't see any movement or anybody outside down there, I'm guessing.
Hold on.
35.
Just the vultures above
Okay.
us.
You don't see any vultures, but you do see something that causes you tremendous pain.
Oh, Jesus.
And that would be the fact that there are some dead animals that apparently were not taken care of by whoever lives here. Okay, meanwhile, you look down and you see what I just described.
The bacon of people.
But roll an observation check to see if any more information is to be gleaned.
Me?
No. COVID.
17.
Total?
I didn't roll low. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't roll high.
So, other than what I've already told you, that's all you guys can see from this
Can I-
distance. Pick
Can I check also?
Oh, hey. Cal.
what?
Use my observation.
Okay, go ahead.
You got that information?
33.
33. You notice the animals, some looking threadbare, some dead,
Red bear?
thin.
Then.
You notice the mill is not turning in the water. Other than that, it looks very peaceful. The lack of people in the town make it, although quiet, a little eerie. You're not used to seeing a village with no people.
The long kiss goodbye. I think that was the one where it was winter and there's a winter.
So, you all are.
They used the watermelon underwater torture and bring back.
What would you all like to do next?
Hey, how many hit points do
I look for a hitching post.
I guess we go on down then.
You all enter the village.
Yep.
hit points you get back?
1.
We must be very cautious.
I have a sword drawn.
Alright,
Shield.
so you all enter the village.
Right.
Is there, other than being ready for who knows what, is there anything else specific? COVID has drawn his sword.
I have my blowgun, easily grabbable, and a dart in the ready.
Okay,
Let me know if I notice that.
hearing
Is the stream moving?
it is. This is a bigger stream than the one with the worm.
I'll test the water for purity.
Okay, you'll have to get down into the town before you can do, unless you want to go
Okay.
away from the town and
No.
travel further to get, okay. So you guys take the road
Okay.
down into the village. And the road to the village is, you make a right and that leads you down into the village. The road along the north and south keeps on going past.
So,
Yes.
Shadrach, you said you can talk to animals. So, can you ask these animals what happened to the people?
I intend to do that.
All right, you enter the village proper. There are houses along the streets, and when I say houses, they're small peasant houses, mostly one room. At least they appear that way from the outside. As you go towards more of the center of town, there might be 2 or 3 roomed houses. These are wattle and daub with thatched roofs, and none of the chimneys have any smoke coming out of them, or holes in the roofs, or what have you. The town is yours to explore as you see fit. The only hitching post that you see on the way down is some of the fencing that has kept
I mean,
the...
I meant in town. I thought we were already in the village. Once I get into the village, then I'm going to look for a place where I can tie Rocket up safely and walk about.
There's multiple wooden fences that you can tie your horse off to if you'd like. Okay, so where would you guys like to go now?
Is there any smoke coming out of any of the houses?
No.
Let's check out the mill.
All right, Reggie first.
Well, I think we should check out the mill. I want to see if there's any grain in there.
Shadrach is agreeing.
And it doesn't look like that wheel.
All right, so
If you'll allow me, you see me lead.
who's going to check out the mill? We have Reggie, Shadrach, COVID,
I'll go with them.
K-Mark,
Yes.
and Pitt. So everybody.
Yes, I think we should stay together until we know what's going on.
So,
Yeah, that.
While
lead
we're
the group now.
traveling, I'm going to try to pay attention to like that rumbling noise that we heard before, to see if I notice anything like that again in the ground.
okay, so you right now, you are listening for something that isn't there. That you can certainly do that, but be aware that listening for something that isn't there does take a tiny amount of your attention.
No, I understand.
So if you're willing to put resources towards that task, then that's what you do. Okay. So you all follow the path from the main little road over to the mill. And you hear the water rushing past the mill as it hits the static wheel. The door is closed. None of the windows are open. They're all shuttered. The mill looks to be like it might be the biggest building in the whole village. It's probably 50 by 50. if any of you are familiar with mills, you understand that there's quite a bit of like engineering involved with this, and the fact that the wheel is stuck. It could be as simple as a broken shaft on the inside to something in the water.
They can be locked. It's in my background.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it can be locked and it can be shut off.
So,
it doesn't have to always.
Whoever's in charge, I'd kind of like for you, whoever that is, to like tell me where everyone goes, and then if somebody doesn't want to go that way, I need you to speak up, because I don't want to have to ask everyone over and over where you're going. Reggie has his hand up.
I don't think there's really any one person in charge. If we need to roll an initiative, to decide who gets to go first.
No, I mean if you're all going to the same place, it's just to try to make it easier.
I had mentioned
besides going the door.
Who's on point?
I had mentioned earlier.
I think
allow me to take the lead on this, to go down there. You know, I'm not going to explore clues. I'm going down there looking for danger. There's danger, I'm going to address it. You guys can look for clues all you want. I don't care about that.
The cop is just trying to make the gaming a little streamlined. Yeah.
Allow me to be your target for them first. Okay.
If that fails, then that's fine. I tried, but whatever. Okay.
I'll take the meeting.
So you're going to the front.
That's why we should have an initiative.
Well, I mean, yeah, but even if you got an initiative, then let's say the mage gets the highest initiative and decides to go in first. I mean, that's not necessarily smart. I'm just thinking, we don't know what's going on. Let me approach the door first. You know, if there's something they're going to jump somebody. That's why I asked the group. I said, please allow me to take the lead on this. I was saying that to the group.
I think there might be a time for when I would call for initiative if I felt like it was needed. So Daryl, I understand what you're saying. So that is it.
At this point, we're all moving behind Sean toward the middle.
Okay, so you go to the front door.
Mm-hmm. I assume it's probably. I mean, it's shut, obviously. I assume it's probably got a board behind it or something. I'm gonna try and, with the shield, bust it open.
Hey, wait. Pick. Is this something that you might be familiar with?
Does it look like there's a keyhole?
No, but
I can definitely take a look at it.
There's other ways of opening bar doors.
COVID has said what he's doing. You said wait. He just looks at you and then proceeds to ram it with his shield. I think that's what you were intending.
Yeah, do the elbow.
So
I'm just trying to bust it open or knock it open or push it open. I don't know if it's even open. Right. We'll see.
Roll a d20.
17.
Plenty good. The door flies open with a loud crack. The door almost flies off the hinges. It slams open, and it's dark in the building. There's little shafts of light coming from different places, and where the machinery is and where the shaft goes out of the side of the building, there's some light that's kind of coming in there. It's not a hermetically sealed place, and that's what you can see from the door.
All right, so I step in 5-6 feet or so, plant my shield, got my sword out, and I'm adjusting my eyes, see what's in here. That's what I do.
Okay. And as I said, unless someone else wants to rush and do something, we'll just go with that. So,
you know what I mean by plant shield?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yes, Reginald.
I'm not rushing to do so, but I'm going to begin to walk around the mill toward the river so I can see where the water is rushing into the wheel. I want to take a look at that.
Okay. Upstream or downstream?
Upstream.
Okay. So that's what you do. Shadrach?
I go with him because I want to test the water.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Rise might go with them just to make sure they're safe in case something comes out of water or something. I'm just saying.
Just to make it easy on me, he's kind of with you.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll go with them then.
With the...
Yeah,
So make sure you watch your back.
All right.
Not that they're not getting.
So, you bash open the door. You take that moment and let your eyes adjust. As you look in there, you see what appears to be the normal accoutrement of a mill. You have a huge gear that is turning another gear which is connected to a flat wheel. You have a large stone that is then also connected to a wooden shaft, which, if turned, would crush the grain or whatever was placed on there. You do see like some chairs and a table off to the left. You then also see like a living area to the right, possibly where the family stayed. Signs of someone's abode. Wooden cups and bowls, things you would find in a medieval serf or peasant's home. Perhaps other things could be around, but that's what you see upon
I'm obviously looking
first
for
glance.
heat signatures, and I also look up, make sure nothing up there. Heat signature. I'm looking for heat signatures more than anything.
Well, definitely nothing besides your own and Rise.
I'll then back out of the room.
Okay, so meanwhile,
I don't need to be in there.
the three have gone around the left, because I'm just saying the stream is going from the left to the right. And you are there around the edge, and you're standing at the water, and you're looking over at the wheel. The bottom of the wheel is underwater, and there's a lot of like white water being kicked up because of the turbulence, so you can't really see if anything has caused it to not turn. Everything seems to be intact, but you would have to perform.
Is the water rushing other than the noise coming from the ripples made by the wheel, or is it a fast stream?
There's like a wall, a man-made wall that the water, as it's diverted, it picks up speed in this area where the wheel is. So it kind of like goes lazily by on the other side of this wall, but as it comes down to where the wheel is, it's set up non-organically to be faster. You understand? You understand? Okay. Okay, so that's what you see upon just first looking. Anything else?
The water, Chad.
I test the water for purity by dipping my finger in, and that's how I know if it's pure or not.
It seems like regular water. I mean, obviously it's not, because this is D&D and you're infected, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so
is the channel, the man-made channel, deep enough that I could stand in it and investigate closer on the wheel?
You guess that the size of the wheel and where the channel is, that most likely you could, but you can't see the bottom
I'm going to try to investigate more closely
of the
before
stream.
I step in.
Okay, make me an observation check, please. Perception.
Do I see him like getting?
He hasn't moved into the water yet. He's just looking.
24.
Okay, so there's not much else I can give you as far as information about that right now.
What are you doing?
Okay.
What are you doing?
Is that...
Mark is talking to you, Reggie.
I'm trying to see if there's something in the way of the wheel, something blocking its momentum, but I want to make sure I'm not going to get sucked into the wheel before I step in here and investigate more closely.
Please let that happen.
I keep...
Is there a
If you
stick
fall
you
in, I
can
can't
pull?
help you.
Is there a stick?
It's not a rushing, I mean, it's moving swiftly, but I want to make sure that I'm checking the wheel now. That's where I'm focusing my attention.
Is there
Okay.
a stick you can probe the water with to see how deep it is?
As you look around, there might be a stick there. Roll a luck check.
A 5.
There does not appear to be some loose sticks. Apparently all the kids gathered the sticks for their games. Okay, so you were saying
Before
something.
they disappeared, they took the sticks with them.
Yes. You were saying something about, do I know how a mill works?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you know how the gears work. They're flat discs with a bunch of poles sticking out of them, and that's what the old gears were. And there's one that you actually push in the gear into place to to allow the wheel to turn. They just slide them, and that's what engages or disengages. And they
Sounds
can just put
great.
a stick through the locket. I don't suppose I noticed that was like that in there. And the only reason I would say that's because I grew up in one, not my character.
Okay, so
When you described
you-
it,
as
I
you-
noticed it was.
as
You said
you-
there was a thing that
right.
described everything else.
as you think about it, you realize you'll have to move a little bit to get down to see where the gear is.
Then I will, because there's nothing that I see up front in here.
Right, correct. Okay, so we're back to the
But I
other
still
guys.
stay
So,
ready.
staying
Okay.
cautious,
Yeah.
attempting to be ready for the obvious trap that the DM has sprung upon his unsuspecting players.
Exactly.
You move into the mill. Rise follows you. So far, Pick, you're just following the two foreigners, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, very good. So I think all three of you have infravision.
Yes. Well, we should.
So that's great. So you move over and you go kind of around the big flat piece of stone, the millstone,
Yeah, I'm
and you look down and you see that there is in fact like a board or something that has stopped the wheel from turning. Something that by your experience would be intentionally placed, not something that just happened to fall into the gears.
I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. Just re-engage the wheel.
Okay. It starts to turn.
Okay.
So as you guys are looking outside, suddenly the wheel starts to turn.
What did you do?
Hey, there it goes.
What did you do?
Those
I didn't do anything.
those of you on the
guys
inside,
must have found somewhere. You cast a spell.
those of
I
you
didn't
on
see
the hold on, those of you on the inside, you hear the people outside through the wall. So you realize they must have seen that. Okay. Now what? We'll go back outside. Anything from you guys?
I'm shaking my head.
I step
turn
away.
back.
Hold on,
I turn
Shadrach
back and
first.
head toward the door.
Okay. Reggie says okay, and he goes back around the front. Chad, you follow? Okay. So you guys go back around the front. Meanwhile, you guys are on the inside. You continue to look around. There doesn't appear to be anything else to find.
Okay. I just stand in the middle of the room and just watch. Wait for the others to show up and investigate.
All right. So the others come back around.
Or
You kind
whoever.
of poke your head in the door.
It's safe. It's clear.
Those of you without infravision, you hear them in there kind of monkeying around, but it's all in shadow.
Are there windows, like shuttered windows?
Yes.
I go to a shuttered window and I start opening the shuttered window so it looks more light in.
Okay.
Those that I know can't see.
So COVID lets some light in.
So can we see around in there now?
You sure can.
I go in and look around. I'm looking for food on tables, signs that people were interrupted abruptly and left in a hurry or whatever. Signs that people would have left in the middle of doing things and just left things around. Or is it bizarre because it looks like everything's been put away and is in its place, like somebody meticulously cleaned up to make it look
Okay.
Can I say something that has nothing to do with that? That'll just get me out of the picture here real quick.
Sure.
So I hope I didn't startle you. I re-engaged the wheel. I I don't see anything in here of threat. I'm going to go stand watch at the door. If you need me, call me. And I go over to the door, and I step right outside the door, and I take watch and start looking around for anything that comes.
So as you attempt to surmise the status of this building, I will describe it as if you were to walk into my house and I wasn't here. By looking around, you have no idea if I left in a hurry or not. If you were to go in my bedroom right now and look around, there's no way of knowing if I left in a hurry or not. I don't think. Unless you can convince me otherwise. And I'm not saying this to try to stop you from being smart. I'm just saying there isn't like a scratch with a dagger in it on the wall or a hastily written note that says we've been kidding. There's nothing like
I think he's looking for like a plate of half-eaten food. It's like you said, is there maybe a knocked over stool.
Is there food sitting out?
Let's say there is. There's a knocked over stool, but then there's 3 others that aren't.
No. Is there food on the table? You know, that's molding? Is it the table not set? Is the table set?
I'll say things are in their place. The dishes are put away in the cupboard. There is no moldy food on the table. Because that really wouldn't be a thing unless it was obvious that.
Right.
But that's not there.
I look for food in this place.
Okay. Shadrach, go.
Is there any grain in the wheel, in the grinding wheel?
There's remnants, but not as if a job was interrupted.
Okay.
You look for food. You find 2 sacks of grain. You find a very you find a kettle in the fireplace with almost dry pottage.
I'm gonna search around the house too. I was looking for some grain for the horse. I'm gonna just nose around.
Make me an observation check, Reggie.
Yeah, I go outside.
And that's a D30 plus
Intelligence.
Intelligence, right?
Correct.
That gives me a 29.
All right. As you search around for grain for your horse or anything else that you might find useful, you don't see anything that's out of the ordinary useful. You find a rake, a shovel, a 20-foot piece of rope, a metallic
I'll take that.
A metallic hinge from something. So you'll take the what? The 20-foot long length of rope?
20-foot piece of rope and the shovel.
Okay. Add that to your equipment list, please. Okay.
Mind if I throw this in your cart?
He's talking to you.
I'm not out there, so unless if you come back into the house, I wouldn't.
Out where?
I'm in the.
I am in the house.
Oh, I thought you were outside.
I did too. Well, that's okay.
They all said they moved around.
Not a big deal.
Inside.
I
addressed them.
You say that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm gonna clean that kettle of the almost dry porridge. It looks like it's a little old porridge. So I'm gonna clean the kettle, put that in the thing, and I'm gonna put the 2 grains, or the 2 bags of grain. Hey, I found some grain for
anybody who needs some.
Thank you. I was looking for some of that. My horse would like that instead of some grass today.
Okay, so you take the pot, you take it over to the river or the stream, and you clean it. I guess just with your bare hands, and you try to scoop it out.
I have soap.
Okay, what up? So soap, like a bar of soap that you use to take a bath with?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna like shave a little bit off and some grass or whatever after I
Okay.
scoop and clean
So,
it out. And just
You do the
clean it up.
roll a d20. Let's just for funsies.
2.
All right. So you do the worst cleaning job ever on this fucking thing, and it's not because you didn't try, but it's because you're using soap and grass on a cast iron metal kettle with this food that just does not want to come off, and you can spend a lot of time on this if you want.
No, I was just trying to get the stuff
I understand.
out. So,
Well, that's what happened.
so.
All right. So, and you put that in your.
If I'm gonna put it in the car.
Okay.
If I come across any better,
You guys have a lot of
cleaning
money. Why are you
utensils,
scabbing? That's all right.
If I come across anything that's better suited for cleaning this thing, I will stash it.
Okay.
For the purpose
All
of
right.
cleaning.
So you've checked out the mill, or unless somebody else wants to do something specific, you're done with the mill. Shadrach has his hand up. Yes.
I wanted to address the group. I think there's something we need to do. This is just a suggestion. But I think we should all round up some animals, and maybe I can learn something from them. All different kinds of animals, but they'll have different perspectives.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to
That's an
suggest.
interesting idea.
Yeah, I don't know how to round up animals, so I'll leave that to you guys.
Well,
You grab them with your hands.
Yeah.
no, we're going to look at basically the animals that are already caged, that are still alive.
Shouldn't need me to round them up.
And
Well, I'm sure there are many domestic animals here that won't be too hard to catch.
All right.
I mean,
who's
I can be friendly with them as so.
who's animal wrangling? Who's animal wrangling? Tamar. You're it.
yeah, I guess.
And Shadrach.
I will.
Oh, Reggie. What?
I'm going to look around at, there had to be like a village leader. They picked, there had to be a village leader or something. Maybe we can find the high-ranking official's home, the leader's home.
Find the elder's house.
Yes, the elder, that's what he'd be.
Well, why don't we get
Oh,
the animals
Don't
first,
ruin it.
and then
Please split
we
the
all
party.
go look at the elder's house. I mean,
Well, we should all keep in sight.
Whatever took a whole village, I mean, they could easily pick us away, one by one if we split up. I mean, we really should stick together and not just like within
We'll all be within
eyesight.
hollering distance.
Yeah, but what if
That's what I
something
said.
hits you before you howl? I can knock you out before you can make a noise, and then the howling doesn't make any sense. If you go around a
Well,
building
then you
and
should definitely go the other way. You should definitely go that way. Go get the animals. And I walk away.
All right. So, Shadrach and Tamar, you're going to animal wrangle, right? All right.
I will.
It's a very easy job because the animals that are there are not in good shape, and the poor little dogs that are still alive are happy to see anybody. The chickens, well, they've turned to cannibalism. The goats don't seem like they mind eating the wood off the houses. The pigs, they're gone. They got out. So you wrangle up as many goats, dogs, and chickens that you want. and it's just you two, and you've gathered them all wherever you want, and what do you do with them?
I think we should get the rest of the group together, and then I'll talk to the animals.
They don't seem in it. I would just talk to them, and you tell me what you're asking them, and then maybe get their answers, and maybe I can offer some more questions. But they didn't seem like they really gave a shit. So.
I'm seeing
Are any of the other members of the group excited?
I'm going to say they're all in sight, but the COVID and Rise are still by the mill, and they are 40 feet from where you are, unless they choose to move, but this is just at this exact moment.
Well, that's pretty close then. I'm just going to wave and try to get everybody's attention.
Reggie and Pick have moved further into the village looking for the nicest place, and as you look at them, they are just kind of looking at each house as they walk, and they are 50 feet away from you. So you start to wave to COVID and Rise, and they can react to that however they want.
Brothers.
Rise says, nah.
I was to say, I'd be, if they split up one different direction, whatnot, I'd be more or less as central to them as I could be and just watching.
Well, the mill is in the center of town.
Okay, well, I'm wherever I can see, like they went there, they went there.
Occasionally,
where they went, so I can
occasionally you do lose line of sight because buildings are in the way, but they don't disappear like they seem to.
I try to stay central to between them to where if there's an issue I can get
that's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to Pick and Reggie. You are walking, attempting to find what you think to be the village elder house, anyway. And there is one house which seems to be a little bit bigger than all the others. Whether it's the village elder or not, obviously you don't know, but you're certainly welcome to investigate if you want.
That one's got the sturdiest shutters. Maybe we should check it out. I agree. Let's do it. We go to the door.
So you go over to this home. It's probably 25 by 30. It's a long home, so it's, more rectangle shaped, and it's long where the long side is where you are, and then it's short on the ends, like not long away. It's long wide.
It's wider than it is deep.
Okay, and you are at the door, and
I wave my hand and flirt. Go Pick. You first?
Yep, I'm going to check the door, see if it's unlocked.
okay, you go to open the door, and it's opens. It seems to move pretty freely, as if whoever owned this house knew how to make a door work. Do you open it?
I open it slowly.
Slowly.
Slowly I turn.
As you look in, your eyes adjust, because once again, the windows are shuttered. However, this time the room lets in less light than the mill. There appears to be, as your eyes adjust, there appears to be window treatments over the 6 windows from the inside. And you see a central fireplace, the normal dressings of a home, small table, couple chairs, rugs on the dirt floor in some places. Other places, dried foliage or rushes. You can see a couple candles laying on their side on a shelf. You can see what could be a lamp and some oil, but it could be empty. And then off to the left, there appears to be another room, and its door is shut, and who knows what's in there. And then there's a pile of wood and a couple chests, a rolled up rug leaning against the wall, a sword and a shield hanging on the wall, one crocheted picture of the mill on another wall, and then other assorted knickknacks as if there was a child that lived here. A toy soldier, a small version of a cart and horses, and that's what you see.
I will first move to open one of the shutters to illuminate these details a little more clearly for me. And move over to the chest area and look more closely at that.
Okay.
Is there a desk with any letters or like dried blood stains?
No.
Or any sign of, okay. It's a very peaceful, normal home.
It is, but you can make me an observation check to see if you notice the bloody dagger in the ceiling.
And a big 18 total.
You do not find any clues as to what might have happened here.
I trip over the toy horse. Oh!
There's a pair of boots.
Dang it!
And there's a coat hanging on a peg by the door. And what else would you find? Like the usual open cupboard with the dishes and linens and things. So this house has a little bit more comfort than the mill had.
Yeah.
Did you open up some of the window treatments, get some light in here?
He did.
Definitely. Okay, you seem to be able to read that contract that the man gave us. If we found some letters or something, maybe some correspondence, we could find out what was happening here in the town.
I'm hoping.
I don't see any laying around. I'm going to check one of these chests here, and I attempt to, first, I begin to feel the creases and the edges, and I'm going to try to find any traps and remove them if possible.
Okay, first of all, roll a d10 to see how many rounds you spend on this task.
3.
And now, roll your detect traps. If that's something you have.
88. That is not good enough.
Well, as far as you're concerned, there's no trap there.
I got a 25%, so I need lower than that, correct?
Equal or less than on your roll, correct.
Okay. And I attempt to lift the lid.
It appears that the lid does not want to open, and upon your examination you realize that it does have a keyhole and a metallic
Well, look here.
lock. So this chest is unopened at this time.
I look back at Pick, and I say, I've got some experience with this. Do you want to give it a crack first?
Oh, you can unless you want me to go.
I reach into my belt pouch and I pull my picks out and I begin to attempt to pick the lock.
Okay, hold on. So, the scene shifts. So, COVID and Rise, as you are keeping watch, hoping nothing comes into town and kills you, or nothing comes out of a building and kills you, you know that Pick and Reggie have went into this home about 75 feet away, and as far as you know, that's where they are.
Okay.
You also are looking over at the 40 feet on the left, and the animal wranglers are over there, and we're going to go to them. So what are you doing with these animals? And we'll go to Shadrach.
I'm going to speak to animals, and this time I bite my tongue to make my tongue bleed, spit the blood into the dirt, and then I start to talk to the animals. And basically, the question is, what happened here? What happened to the people?
Which one are you talking to?
Is there a cat?
What do the noises sound like that Tamark hears?
There was dogs, goats, chickens.
That's it.
Yeah. Gonna be like the sea and say, the cow says, moo.
Yeah, but
So yeah, making the animal noises, it sounds like some kind of a vaudeville act.
But which are you talking to? The
Except
dogs, the chickens, or the goats?
Which animal noises are you making?
I'm gonna make, what animals are in front of us? I mean,
A
I'm gonna talk
fucking
to the animals
goat,
that are there.
a goat, a dog, and a chicken.
Alright, well, I'm going to growl and woof at the dog. And
Okay.
whimper and woof and say, what happened to the people?
Alright, and you're casting a spell?
Yes, speak to animals.
Alright. I just want to see if that allows you to converse with all three of them, or only one particular one.
Okay, well, I know which one I'll talk to then if it's only one.
It would be great if you could talk to all of them, but I don't know. Speak with animals. 207. Alright. The spell empowers the priest to comprehend and communicate with any warm or cold-blooded normal or giant animal that is not mindless. The priest is able to ask questions and receive answers of the creature, although friendliness and cooperation are by no means assured. If the animal is friendly or of the same general blah blah, there's a possibility that it might do a favor. So it doesn't say, there it is, one animal within 30-foot radius of the priest. Okay. And it lasts for
What's the
2 rounds per level.
Okay, so
So
6 rounds.
hold on.
Here,
We're gonna do this
okay.
with the timer. And you will know when the spell's about to run out. It's not like you don't know and then all of a sudden it shuts off. You feel the magic ebbing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to roll for the animal to see if it likes before you start the timer?
I have animal handling, so I will use that.
What does animal handling do for you?
I can well, that's just handling an animal, a domestic animal. Okay, I will cast another spell on top of this. I will cast animal friendship.
The more stupid the animal, the more insane the comments.
Okay, so do you know what you have to have to cast that spell?
Again, I bite my cheek and spit more blood, and then add it to what I've already done towards the speaking of the animals. I'm going to include it into that all as one basic ritual.
He's going to have more stars than I do.
Oh shit.
Amy's gonna be...
Animal friendship. That is a first level pre-spell.
A hemophiliac by the end.
And with this, the material component of the spell are the caster's holy symbol and a piece of food the animal likes.
Okay.
So, first thing you do is you cast, and the duration on the
Permanent.
animal friendship, it says it's permanent. So, but the casting time is 1 hour. So you probably don't want to cast that.
All right. I'll just talk to the dog and
All right.
try to do what I can.
Are you ready? You cast the spell.
I'm ready.
And go.
Oh, almighty hound, what happened to the people? What happened to your masters?
Make me a charisma check at +1.
That's a D20 plus my charisma?
Correct?
All right. Uh, 29.
It says, I don't know. I don't know. I'm hungry. He starts licking your hand.
I'll throw some crackers out. I'll say, did you see any strange creatures?
No, I didn't see anything. I just know they were here, and then they were gone.
Did you hear anything? Did the ground shake?
The ground? No, the ground didn't shake. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden it wasn't fine. Oh, I got a stomach
Did it
ache.
happen?
I ate too fast.
Thanks. Now, I can only talk to the dog, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Are you?
Where did you live before? What house?
I lived right over there. Where you got me from?
All right. Do I remember which house that was?
Sure, it's just like 2 houses over.
Okay. Did anybody survive? Is anybody hiding in the woods?
I don't know. I don't know why they would do that. They're gone.
Nobody made a sound? You heard no sound? Nothing?
Let me think. You know, I did hear a sound. But I don't know if I can make it. It was kind of like "Grrr, grrr."
Was it a sound a living creature would make?
You mean like what I just did? Yeah.
Okay.
What's in your butt?
Well, I'll just let him sniff me up.
He goes for everything. He's like,
I'll
oh,
tell Mark.
I like
I
you.
don't think the animals can help us.
I like you a lot.
Well, you can stay with me if you want.
Hey, come here. Come here, bend down here.
Well, I'm right there.
He
I'll
licks,
kneel down.
he licks your face. What is that? Is that fish?
What is what?
Is that fish?
No. I'll turn to Tanmark, and again I'll say, I don't think the animals can help us. They don't understand what happened here.
So
It didn't make sense to them.
what did you ask and what did they say?
Hey, don't talk to him, talk to me. Scratch my neck.
He can't understand you.
Scratch my neck.
I tell him to be. I tell him to be calm.
He sits.
I'll tell Tanmark what the dog heard or saw. The dog saw nothing but heard a terrible growling sound of some terrible creature. But they don't know what happened. The people just vanished.
You hear a terrible growling sound?
I don't understand what you're saying to that other, whatever.
That's okay. He doesn't understand you.
No, you understand me.
I look at the dog and I take out my a thing of food rations and I break it up into little tiny pieces and I give it slowly to the dog.
It tries to basically bite your hand off in eating.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, careful. I tell you, don't eat too fast. Don't eat too fast.
Can't help it, I'm hungry.
I said I'm breaking it off and giving it to
Well,
him
it's
slowly.
trying to eat it right out of your hand.
Well,
so.
that's fine, but I'm breaking the pieces off into small pieces and giving it to him slowly.
Well, it doesn't want to do it slowly, and it's trying to fucking bite your hand off, so that's what it does.
Don't bite my friend, please.
Bites his hand off.
He's a good man. He's trying to feed you.
I know, it's great, it's great. I'm gonna sniff him now, and it gets up and... He smells like a turtle.
Group, I think.
He smells like a turtle.
A turtle?
So there was a loud noise. What we've got is there was a loud noise. Can you ask him if the ground shook?
Is that it?
Or he
Is that
felt
all?
the
Are you gonna get my friends out?
Yes. Did the ground shake? He
Okay.
said no.
Your spell's running out. Any last words to him before your spell runs out?
I just asked him if he heard thunder.
What's that? You mean when the clouds make sound?
Yes.
I've heard thunder before.
Oh, okay. Never mind. All right. I'll let it run out.
All right, I take my dog.
If the dog follows me, he's welcome to follow me around.
Where do you guys go now? The chicken and the goat, they're both sniffing around the ground.
Well, I mean, because we didn't sit around here and take care of animals. That's not why we came here, but I want to make sure that the animals are at least free and able to find something to eat.
Yeah, well, we can have some fried chicken tonight. I mean, rotisserie chicken tonight.
Do what you will. I won't stop you.
It was
The animals wander off. Okay, so
I'm going back towards him.
back at the main house. Please carry on, gentlemen.
I was just getting my picks in place and lining them up and feeling out the tumblers and rolling a 76, which is too high.
All right, so
This is a tough one.
you got your tools out and you place one in the keyhole and then you place your other one and you might have done this before and you start to try to press on the tumblers and you're like pressing and then you're pressing again and then one of them, it doesn't want to move. It's like it's stuck and you're like, well, fuck. You are unable to pick this lock.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough one here, man. I think there's a stuck tumbler in there, Pick.
Randy,
Maybe you could try your hand.
Wakey,
If
wakey.
you're up for it.
Apparently Pick has left the building.
You need to use my tools, or you got your own.
Randy!
You're a locksmith. You're a locksmith. I figure you probably have some tools, right? I look on his belt pouch, and I'm like, Does he have a toolkit or a backpack or something? Does he carry anything?
Let me see.
You wanna call him?
Totally. Does it look like he's got tools? Is he staring off into space? I wave my hand in front of his eyes.
He's doing the Invasion of the Body Snatchers thing.
He's one of those people that just like all of a sudden just goes to sleep.
Oh, he's a narcoleptic.
Yeah, he's narcoleptic. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
We definitely need to have him sitting in the chair here.
He stays awake here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dude, it's hard when you're at home and stuff.
It can be.
He doesn't have like anything outwardly showing that he is a locksmith. He's got a cloak on and his clothes.
Gloves. Yeah. I was just trying to drag it out so that he'd have a chance to respond, but I'm not hearing anything from Randy.
Okay. So, we'll say that while you were picking the lock, he moved away quietly.
Are you calling him?
And then as you turn around, oh, look at that. He is not in the room with you.
There was another chest. You said there were two?
Yes.
I would like to check the second one for traps.
All right, roll a d10 first.
I got a 3.
And now roll your find traps, please.
Oh, 79. Lot
All right.
higher, so it doesn't appear to be
You
trapped.
did not find the trap.
I will attempt to lift the lid.
Okay. Once again, this appears to be locked. The same type of chest.
I will attempt to pick the lock. Yeah, that one opens up for me. 26.
That is a success. Is that a success?
And I open the chest.
Okay,
Yes.
must be.
Yes.
Okay, so you take your, and remembering what you did last time, got your one in there and then you put your another one in on the side and you're feeling around, you're like click, click, and you feel it unlock. And you withdraw your picks and put them away, and then what?
And then I open the chest.
You open the chest. The chest will need to be moved slightly so you can see what's inside of it.
Okay. I slide it away from the wall a little bit into the light that's coming through the shutters,
All right.
the open shutter.
Yes. This chest has no lining. It's made of wood. In the inside of it, you see something in the chest, but it is covered with some cloth, a bolt of cloth, like a faded green cloth.
Okay. I will pull the cloth off and out of the chest.
When you pull the cloth, revealing a set of metallic goblets. They appear to be silver. Also, what appears to be silver dishes. You're not sure how many because they're stacked. And also there
Right.
appears to be silver dinnerware, like spoons and these little like things with points on them, like miniature what do you call
Pitchforks?
it? Yeah, pitchforks.
Huh. Handy dandy.
Do you have any knowledge of what those could be? Like something like etiquette or something along those lines.
It appears to be eating utensils. It's a family set of dishes.
But you don't know why there would be miniature pitchforks in there with them.
So it doesn't look like a utensil for eating.
No one
It
uses.
doesn't look like a fork.
No one
or regular-
uses forks. Aren't a thing as far as you're concerned. I know that sounds weird, but
I've never
everyone uses a spoon or a
I've never
knife.
seen. Okay, I've
So
never
the-
seen anybody use a pointy stick to poke things.
A pointy stick, yes,
Put it in their mouth.
but not.
I'm picturing an eating utensil, but you tell me it's more of a tiny.
Cobb
Doesn't look like an
is
eating
telling
utensil.
you that there's forks to go with the spoons and the knives, but you've never seen a fork
Yeah.
before. Forks are
Okay.
uncommon. Only
With being the
a certain class of people, or perhaps someone who is from a different culture would use a fork.
okay. I do garner that it's a family heirloom type set of dishes, and I'm not going to pull that around, so I put the green cloth back on in the chest, and I close it, push it back in its place.
Okay. Probably, probably kind of heavy. So I can see your point. Okay.
And I'm gonna turn around and walk back out and see what happened to the Pick. I'm looking around for her.
So as far as this Dungeon Master is concerned, Pick has just walked back over towards COVID and Rise, and he's just standing there.
Okay. Not sure what else I should be looking for.
As you look
Oh,
around...
there was a room. There's another room.
Correct, but as you step out and you look for Pick and you see him over there, you also see the druid being loved on by this fucking skinny dog that seems to be very excited to have somebody around.
I'm gonna go over to the building since I walked.
I'm gonna walk back over and go into the other room.
Okay, and then you're doing what?
I'm gonna walk over into the building since when I came back, Pick's just standing
Okay.
there.
All right, so I will tell you when you get there. So you go back in the room, or back in the home, and you go over to the door you haven't opened.
Correct. And with one hand on my dagger, I push the door
Well,
open.
you notice right away that this door has a keyhole.
Hey, and it's not opening, is it?
It is not. It appears to be locked.
All right, back to work. I'm gonna get the tools out.
All right, roll the d10 first.
4.
All right, it takes you 4 rounds to...
Unsuccessfully attempt to pick the lock.
So you, this should be easier because the hole's bigger. The key's bigger. But as you are putting the tool in there and you start to press down on the tumbler, you feel something brush up against your leg. And I need you to roll a d10.
A 2.
Do you have a reaction adjustment on your dexterity?
It is +2.
Okay, so as something brushes against your leg, you quickly turn, ready to defend yourself, when you realize it's a duck.
Aw. What the duck?
And just then, K-Mark
Why a duck?
pokes
Sorry.
his head in the door. And you see him standing there looking at this duck, and this duck's like sitting there wagging his tail.
You okay in here then? Need any help?
Yeah.
Find anything?
I was trying to open this door. But it's locked. And then this duck about scared the crap out of me, and I bend down and attempt to scoop up the duck.
Make me a charisma check. Let's see if you can scoop up this duck.
You duck scooper.
That gives me a 20.
Okay, so you bend down, and right as you're ready to grab it, it goes, ah, and runs away from you and heads out the door. Unless you want to do something to stop it, it just goes right past you.
I'm not interested.
All right.
I'm nothing pursuing.
Okay, so now you two are in this building alone.
So,
Are
do
you any
need
good
help
with locks? This
No.
door's locked, or maybe you can break it open.
Well, that I might be able to do. So I will attempt to break the door.
I'm looking for clues,
Do
maybe.
you have a crowbar?
With maybe some letters or documentation that would give us some clues.
You have a crowbar or anything?
No, I don't have a crowbar.
No. I didn't happen to think to bring one, but sometimes they're useful in my line of work. So, I will try to break the door down. So,
Just on a technicality. No, never mind. I do not.
Okay, so you are treating your open door roll just like you would a proficiency check. So you have to get a 21 or more, and I don't know what your number is there on your open
9.
doors. 9, okay.
So I get a 15 plus 9.
Okay, so you, how do you break the door down?
So, I'm going to come up to it and try to kick it right where the lock is to see if I can.
All right, so
break
with
it.
a forceful kick, he kicks the door open. It busts the lock and the frame, and the door flies open.
Wow, why didn't I think of that?
Everyone hears that. In the still of the village, everyone hears a loud cracking sound coming from the house.
Start heading to the house as fast as I can.
Okay.
See, that's lock picking 101.
All right, so the door is
Yeah,
open.
that's effective.
It's dark in there.
I can't see. Can you see in there?
I'm gonna go to the table. You said that there was an oil lamp and it might have oil in it. I'm gonna check it and attempt to light it.
Well, it does have oil in it. And
Oh,
you light it. I'm guessing you have like a flint and steel kind of thing, or?
I do. In my pouch on my belt, I pull that out, spark the wick, and see if it'll take.
I don't know if that's actually would light a lamp, but I'm going to say it does. And you now have a source of light. And then
carry the lamp into the room.
Okay.
Time to do the produce.
With paper.
8:30.
Time to do the produce.
You see a bedroom. Obvious bedroom of whoever's lived here. There's a bed.
Sure.
Covered with linens. There are 3 rugs on the floor, one in the front of the bed and one on each side.
Is the bed made or is it unmade?
It's made. You see a wardrobe closed on the left wall. On the right wall, you see a bowl of water on a small table, 2 chamber pots, a rack with some leather armor on it, what appears to be an empty belt pouch on the floor, a sword sheath on the front, and like a pile of refuse in the right, like when you walk in, if you were to go that left, so I was describing it backwards, on the left corner, there's like a pile of, who knows, like junk or something, which you would have to investigate. Everything else is pretty plain, and nothing up in the ceiling. The 3 or 4 burned down candles are in candlesticks, are in candle holders, and what looks like a kind of satchel that you've seen merchants or lawyers or whatever, they carry like their papers in when they go through town.
Oh, a scroll case.
No, it's like it's a leather bag, but then it's got the flap that ties with a buckle on the front to keep it closed.
Hey, so why don't you look through that pile in the corner and I'll look through this
Okay,
bag
meanwhile,
so I can read.
COVID, you get in there and you were like, what the fuck? And you see there's a light coming from in another room on the
Both
left.
towards the room. I mean, that's where they're at, right?
Yeah. So you guys hear somebody approaching from outside, and it's COVID.
Hello?
Hey,
What's going on? I heard something crashing.
I broke the door in.
Oh,
we were getting in this room. I'm gonna take out my sword, unsheath my longsword, and use it to poke at the pile of refuse and turn things over and see what I might find.
Stand there and watch.
And I've got the lamp in my other hand.
Roll a perception check, please.
remember my sword's still out.
Oh, big 18.
18. All right. You check through the pile of debris. It appears to be useless items like scraps of cloth and bits of string and pieces of wood and bones of animals that were probably eaten and thrown into the corner. Things like that.
Okay.
Anything else for this room?
I will move to,
There's one.
I move to look at the wardrobe.
Okay, it's about 5 foot tall and about 3 foot wide, and it's closed. It appears to have 2 doors, and once again, it has a keyhole in the middle.
Are there any drawers on the front,
No, it's a full length.
or just 2 big doors?
Yes, 2 big doors.
All right, I'll attempt to open it.
Okay, you grab the edge of it and you try to pull, and it seems to be locked.
gonna use my open doors and try to pull it open because it looks weak to me.
On your open doors, was there a number in parentheses?
No.
No, just
That's
a
when you-
10.
I think that's when you get higher.
No, that's for locked doors. That's what that number is.
Oh, okay.
The first number is for something that's stuck. Open doors 9. Yeah, so you shouldn't have been able to kick down that door.
Oh.
But you did. So there you go. My bad. Okay. So, you are going to try to open this locked door with brute strength, all right? On your
Correct.
open doors, is there a number in parentheses next to the number?
There is not.
Okay. So you pull, and if you can roll a natural 20, you can bust it open.
18, man. I pull hard, but okay. I'm going to turn my attention to the candles. You say they're burned down. Are they like, there's 3 different candles that are completely burned down?
Into some candlesticks, yes. Or isn't that what they're called?
fellas,
The
this
fucking
could be an
candlestick?
indication.
Isn't that what you put a fucking candle
Yeah.
in? Is a candlestick?
Yeah, I mean, there's different names for different kinds of candlesticks,
Yeah.
Or am I fucking?
but there's a candelabra. I mean,
No.
But
These
yeah,
are like
they're-
little.
yeah.
These are like
Yeah, they're little.
but they're
candlesticks.
metal.
It's just a
They're
candle
not
holder.
wood.
Yeah.
Candle holder. Candlestick is the stick candles.
Yeah.
They go in little candle holders.
Ah.
That's what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah, like that. Only
Yeah.
it's like instead of being lower, there's like a stem. That's the only difference.
Anyway,
But yes,
burned
that's
all the way down.
yes.
This could be an indication that the door was locked and these candles were lit, apparently, and they burned down to nothing with no one in the room.
Yeah, I don't.
So why would the candles be lit? A person would put them out before they left their house and locked it up.
I don't.
It's like they just vanished. A spirit or a demon or something has taken them.
I don't disagree with that.
Are you trying to get in that door?
It's creepy.
All right, candle holder is what it's called. I just fucking didn't. Anyway, it was bothering me. Go ahead, keep going.
I'm wanting to look through the bag of stuff.
Reggie,
you
you trying to get through that door?
Yeah, I was just going to look in there to see if there was anything in there. But now, Tamar, can you read?
Yeah,
if
I
there's
can read.
paperwork in there, don't just read through it,
No,
okay?
no, I can read.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Okay, so
We
you
need to look for evidence in there.
grab the satchel
Mm-hmm.
and just proceed to open it.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll a save versus nothing. You open it. You unhook the belt, the buckle, throw the flat back, and in here are several sheafs of paper.
I look for.
You also see a little wooden box about like this big on the left, and on the right, tucked in, appears to be some type of cloth, some kind of heavy, thick cloth.
All right, so I'll look at the box and the cloth first.
All right.
I have etiquette as well, if that helps.
I don't think etiquette would help.
Okay.
You can still roll it if you want.
Well,
and
no,
you
I
can-
didn't
you
know
can-
if it was like a.
You can etiquetely open these things.
I didn't know
But
if
no.
maybe it was like a snuff box or something, and then.
Your box was real nice.
Okay,
I
so
Yeah, see, now that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that the man is looking for us to bring back. I'll bet you.
so you
That paperwork's got to tell us something.
first thing you do is you grab the little box,
Okay.
and it's like it's 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 wooden, but it's like the top is big enough to fit over the bottom, and that's how it's put together. Okay. In this box is a metal ring, a chunk of red wax, and a tiny little, like a tiny little mallet.
Oh, this is what he uses to make his
I'm seeing
seal.
it close.
This is what he makes his
See it
seals
close?
with.
Yeah, with the lamp, you can see it.
So I close
Yeah.
it back up. So
Okay.
this is what he makes this is like probably a signet ring, and what he makes is marking it with.
Definitely. I've seen those used.
So then I put that like off where it was in the bag again, and then I open the cloth up.
Okay, when you grab the cloth, you find out that it's actually a nice pair of leather gloves that are like lined with sheep skin or wool or whatever. Deluxe.
Ooh, those look nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet they'll be nice and warm come winter time. So, and then I go ahead and I start looking through the papers to see if there's any writing on any of them.
They all have writing on them. It's ledgers and business documents. And upon first glance, it appears like this guy is the town, like, general store proprietor. Now, depending on how much time you want to spend with these papers, there may be other specific information to be gleaned, but that is what you get from the letterhead and the first few documents.
I'm gonna scan through them. So, you know, I look through them trying to just pick out anything that might catch my eye of importance. But I'll look through all of them.
Okay, not having speed reading, roll a d20.
Come on already. I'm going to walk over here with the lantern.
Okay. Nothing catches your eye on your skimming.
Okay. So I will look through these more thoroughly later, but I don't see anything that stands
Yeah,
out.
Pick can read too. 2 eyes are better. 2 sets of eyes will be faster. Check out this armor over here. Is this something you can wear, Covidus?
I go look at the armor. What is it?
It's leather armor.
It looks like a well-worn, too small for you leather armor.
It's not something that would interest me.
Does it look of better quality than mine?
Oh, as I get closer, I
No,
see
it does
that.
not. That,
Well, you saved me.
You said there was a sword there, or did I take that already?
There was a scabbard, you said, but you didn't
Long
say
sword,
a
scabbard?
sword.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard something about
There's a scabbard, but I didn't hear a sword.
is there anything else in the room you want to investigate, Reggie?
Yeah, if one of you wouldn't mind holding the lantern for me, I'm going to try to open this wardrobe. And I'm going
You hold
to
the I'm gonna
get
hold
my
my sword.
picks out, and I'm going to attempt
I'll hold
to
the
open the lock.
All right, roll the d10.
Or take it back. Is there a table I can put the lamp on to shine it at the wardrobe?
This is a
I got an
lamp,
8.
like,
Oh,
that. It's not a bullseye lantern.
oh, okay.
Okay, and now roll your open locks, please.
Come on, a 2.
I rolled a 31. I need a 45 or better.
All right, so this time you get your tools out. You're putting the one in, you take the one, you kind of twist it up and to the left, and you recognize this kind of lock. This lock is specifically used by certain group of ship's captains that you've had dealings with in the past. And it's super unusual that it would be all the way here unless somebody stole it or somebody took it. It's not something like that was made around here. It's an import, okay?
Interesting.
But then
I haven't seen a lock like this since I
take-
was at Steve.
you take your left hand and you press and you just get it where the little bolt is and you go crinkle and you push it open and you have successfully unlocked it.
All right. Thanks for holding that lantern, that lamp. And I take it back, the candle, or the oil lamp, that's what it was. And I will look closely at the contents of the wardrobe.
You open the
Pull my
door
two swords out.
and you have the lamp and you look and you see clothing, of course, in a wardrobe. And they are kind of hanging on wooden clothes hangers.
Okay.
Would you like to...
Okay, just close.
I was going to ask you, do you have any reason to want to inspect anything any more?
I would like to check on the base of it, like down under the edge, and look at the floor, see if there's anything sitting down there. I'll kind of move the clothes aside and look in a little more close.
Okay. When you move the clothes aside and you take the lamp and kind of lower it so you can get a good look at the base of the inside of this wardrobe, you see what appears to be a rolled up, like a bundle of cloth about this long, like, and there's cloth that's wrapped, and it's like a rare golden color. It's a rare color.
Oh, that's interesting. And I reach in and I pull it out.
Okay, and it can unroll or whatever if you wanted to inspect it.
Yeah, does it, when I grab it, does it feel light, or is it like there's something heavy wrapped in this cloth?
Well, you think that, and it's obvious that the cloth is wrapped around like, there's like a wooden rod or something that it's, so, your first guess is it wouldn't be a sword. It's some kind of just a thing that they would use to wrap the cloth in.
Okay,
Or, I mean, around.
A seamstress or whatever would have a bolt of cloth.
Not quite that wide, actually. It's like, okay. Roll me a perception check, please.
Ooh. 41?
Well, it's a D30 plus
Yeah,
your
41.
intelligence, so okay. So, with a 41, you notice that along the edges of this wrapped up cloth, there appears to be stitching. So it's not just a bolt of cloth, it's something else.
What do you got there?
You know, I thought it was a bolt of cloth, and I'm going to lay it on the bed and start to unroll it.
Okay. When you start to unroll it,
Could be a tapestry.
you,
Or map.
do you have any knowledge of heraldry or signage or identifying marks or anything like that?
I do not have any proficiencies that help me.
Okay.
I know some of the ship's flags from sailing on the Myriad for a while. You know, I know some of the identifying marks, but it's nothing that I'm skilled in.
Right. So with that basis, roll a d20.
12.
All right. So this looks like something you've seen before, and you're just not sure where. And that's as vague an answer as
familiar.
I can give you because you're not proficient in
So there,
identifying this
okay.
this
So
heraldry,
there's,
but
so there is an emblem on this golden cloth. As I unroll it, I see an emblem or a picture of
Correct.
some sort.
Does it look to be flag size?
Okay,
I mean, how big
I
is a
say
flag?
to my
I've seen
friend-
flags
Well, like
of
a flag
multiple
that you would
sizes.
have in the front of an army, not a flag you post at the house. Like it's something that would ride with
A
a
banner, he's,
well, I don't know, a flag banner, something that you would ride with like with an army that size.
I mean, you
Yeah,
certainly
generic.
could, but
I mean, I'm not talking like giant, gigantic, but not tiny either.
you could.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it's.
have you seen anything like that before?
No, it doesn't ring a bell to me. I mean, as far as the emblem or the
I will
thing,
describe the emblem. The emblem is a golden field with this green stitching around the edge, which then at the bottom turns into like a green, mass that seems to be coming out of a blue background, and then almost like a backwards C, and then
you say C,
a flower, a letter C, and then a flower like a daffodil or some kind of spring flower. It's got the white petals and the pink little part in the middle of it, whatever that's called, the pistil or the stamen or whatever. And behind it, there are like several repeating patterns of like like an upside down V, and they're filling in all the spaces, so it's kind of like the golden canvas or golden cloth, and then this green that's kind of coming up from the bottom, and then this backward C, and the flower, and then underneath all of that are these upside down V's. And you swear that you've seen this before, Daryl, but you're like, I can't place it.
It looks so familiar, and with this, I'm thinking it's got something to do with maybe one of the merchants, whoever this merchant is that the signet ring belongs to, could all be connected. I think this is the kind of evidence that the man wants to bring back with a big payday, boys.
I look at the
And I
ring
begin to roll up the cloth.
and see if there's anything that matches that symbol on the ring.
maybe
Okay,
check.
so you set the bag back down, and you open it up, and you reach in, and you get the ring out, and you're looking at it, and the ring, it looks like the flag, or the piece of cloth, I should say. He said flag, so I was like flag.
So it is a flag.
Oh, that must be his crest or something, because the signet ring I show them looks like that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it's a match. But that
I mean,
just
I
makes
agree.
sense because it's his
I mean,
house
I don't
that
know
we're
if it's-
breaking into here. And
I mean, merchants don't usually have flags or banners or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's
he
more
must
than
be
that. There's
more
more to this than that.
prominent.
Well, merchants don't carry stuff like that. Isn't
yeah, I agree. This is a
That's-
fancy
that's-
house
Yeah.
for such a small building.
Maybe check the rest of the clothes in that wardrobe and see if any of them are maybe a uniform or something, perhaps.
Oh.
Or maybe one of them have an emblem of some sort on them.
Check the pockets as well to see
Oh,
if there's anything
sure.
in the pockets or. And
I'll hold the lamp for him as he can rifle through it.
okay, I
See if
go
any
in
of
and I
them are
rifle
mobile.
through them and I pull them out individually and look at them, front and back, show them to everybody. Try to like feel around.
They're very nice shirts and not hose, but they're like I don't want to say pants because I don't think they're pants, but
Balloons.
they're got like
Pants.
ties on the hem and ties on the top instead of having like buttons
Is that
or
what
zippers.
Pantaloons? Is that what they are?
They're mostly the same. There's like a couple oddball colored ones, but they're just really nice. And there's also one of them has a dried flower pinned to it, which may or may not be the same flower that's on the cloth that he unrolled. It's decayed.
Do I find anything in the pockets or anything as going through the
Roll a
pockets?
d20.
14.
If there was something to be found, you probably would have found it, but you're pretty sure there was nothing in any of
Okay.
these. Mostly
Well,
because
we should probably move to,
none of the pants had pockets.
Oh, you said there was a door in here that you couldn't open. Shouldn't we investigate inside that as
That's the
well?
one I kicked open.
Oh, you did open it?
yeah, that's what we're looking in right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was there-
okay. I thought-
Was
I
there
misunderstood.
anything else in this place, like chests, or that you found, or?
In the other room, I found some dishes in a chest, and the other chest I couldn't get open. Maybe one of you guys could crush it.
Well, it might crush
But I
the
think we
contents.
found the paperwork. I think we found the documents that will, and this. I mean, this is just circumstantial. I don't know if this has anything to do with the disappearance of the people, but now we have some identification on who might have been here at the time. Anyway, we need to look around at some other homes and see what else we can find.
Let's shake the chest. Maybe Pick can open it.
Okay, pause, hold on. So Shadrach, you've been outside for a while by yourself, kind of hanging out. Is there anything you would like to be doing right at this time?
I'm just looking for crows, but I'm keeping it there. Yeah, I'm outside the house where they're in, and I'm just sitting on the stoop
Okay.
looking for crows. And if I see any crows, I'm going to try to communicate with them.
Roll a d30. Let's see if you see a crow.
Pecking on a
What's
dead
a
body.
blue 30? Huh?
You want to roll high?
Oh, no. I rolled an 8.
Okay. So unfortunately, no crows happen to pass by and with their little straw hats and their hobo sticks.
Named Heckle and Jekyll?
Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
All right. So you guys have just uncovered whatever the fuck this is, and you're done here, or what else you want to do?
I'm gonna grab that scabbard. Is the scabbard still there? What do you take it?
It's still sitting there on the ground.
And you said it appears to be a longsword scabbard. Is that correct?
No.
What size does it?
Probably
appear to be?
short.
Anything unusual about it, or it just?
No. The only thing unusual about it is that it's
Missing a sword.
plain and well used. Nothing.
Okay. I take it anyway.
Okay. Put
Yeah,
that
take
on
the
your
scabbard.
inventory.
So we take the chest we couldn't open out and put it in the cart.
Oh, so we wake up Pet.
Yeah, so we put it in the cart for the time being.
Hey, fellas,
So add that to your inventory because it's your cart. So put it on with your cart. Okay, then Reggie, you got one last thing to say here?
it just dawned on me that being this is a fancy, wealthy person's home, they could have a hidden compartment or door, maybe in this room, in this bedroom. I'm really not skilled at looking for those kind of things, but maybe you guys know more about it. What do I look for? And I begin to search.
It'll take time to search, but I'll be happy to help.
Yeah, well, and maybe a loose floorboard or something.
Could be anything.
And I'll check underneath the bed too to see.
All
if
right,
there's
so you
anything
guys are all searching for something.
in the bed
So,
or under the bed.
First thing I want to ask is there any ability or spell or whatever that could increase your chances of success in finding something?
Yes,
And
no.
and what does that help you? If just off the top of my head, I know it helps you find secret and concealed doors. Anything from you two guys?
Spot concealed doors and hidden entrance ways.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that.
Okay. So I would like all of you to roll a d6, and I will call for the numbers after you all roll. So we'll start with Tamar.
4.
4. Okay. Reggie.
Randy just he
6?
got called out. He just got back, he said. So
Oh.
he should be
And
I got a 1.
Covidius. You got a 1. Okay. So Tamar, you search under the bed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the bed and under the bed.
Okay, and you pull back all of the linens and you check between the bed and the whatever, the bed frame, and then you look underneath and it's dark under there obviously.
Yeah, like feel around for
So,
a loose floorboard or
but
something like
you
that.
find nothing. Reginald, you search the walls for little loose boards or pieces of wood that don't belong, or maybe like behind some other things. Alas, you find nothing. And COVID, you search as well for loose floorboards or things along the edges and cracks. And you're pretty sure there was nothing to find because you rolled a 1, but you find nothing.
Doesn't appear to be anything in here.
So,
It was just a
No, it's good.
thought.
Good thought.
Thanks for helping me look,
Good
guys.
thought. It's unfortunate we didn't find something more.
okay. So do you
I
do
think we should take
anything?
this to the other.
Do you do anything to the room or the house as you leave?
Shut the door behind us.
Unfortunately, the door to this bedroom is busted down.
I meant to the
No, I
house.
know. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
Is there any food in this house? We'll search for. Let's look for some more food. Just
Are you hungry?
well, we have animals out there. And,
You don't want to eat them?
well, some of them, yeah. I was
Speaking
hoping
of
for some
animals.
chicken tonight.
What does your dog do, J-Mark? Does he like stay by your side? Does he stay with your cart?
He's an attack
Is he
dog.
friendly? Does he approach others?
He's an attack dog. He's a guard dog. I mean, he's a combat dog.
Well,
He's
what's he
been
doing
trained
though?
for
This whole
combat.
time, you've never heard anything about that.
Oh, he's been hanging out by the cart. So
Okay.
I
Just
don't
curious.
know.
Okay,
Roaming
so
around.
as COVID and Reggie are leaving, you start looking around for food. You find a half of sack of grain. You find some dried meat. You find a loaf of bread that has not been touched. And you find some roots in clay pots. Do you take any of that?
Yeah, I'm gonna take all of that.
Okay, then add that to your inventory. And then everyone rejoins back up outside. And there you are.
Is Pick there?
Yes. Hey, there you are.
Show him that
Sorry, I
chest.
got called out.
Hey, Pick, we got this chest in the back of the cart we'd like you to try to open.
Well, as much as I would like to see this, it is time,
Something
so
bad
we
in the
have to
chest.
stop there.
Something gonna jump out of the chest.
But, that's great. So, tonight, you have started your investigation into the town of Notnef. Are there any parting words from anyone before we end our game tonight?
Schmibs! Schmibs!
Don't know what that is, but
You
Yes.
never seen Saturday Night Live with Amy Aykroyd?
What, one of the 5,000 episodes?
what were you saying, Reggie?
I enjoyed playing.
Very
Good
good.
game.
That's all that matters. All right, so unless something changes, we'll be same channel next week, and that's it.
That's Thanksgiving, Todd.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
I
it
forgot. So
Anybody doing anything for Thanksgiving?
I guess.
Yay or nay?
I mean,
How about Wednesday?
I haven't found out whether I'm going over to my mom's house and cooking a dinner or not, or what the hell's up, but...
Well, yes, I can do Wednesday night because I don't work Thursdays, but that would be up to everyone else. So I'm not against it.
I'm good for whatever.
So let's go around the table here. We should assume Chris can't because he can't. But if you could find out, that'd be great.
I'll try.
But so what about you, Daryl? Wednesday, good or bad?
I'm good for Wednesday.
Good for Wednesday. Jason, good or bad? Are you
It's a
off?
day off for me, so yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Randy, Wednesday, up or down? I can't see it.
Should be fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
You're all right. So that's it then. So we're gonna game Wednesday evening,
Same
and
time?
unless somebody says different, 5 o'clock.
Maybe play later.
Well, that's for
Sounds good.
older people to try to stay up late. So
That's
I
what I said, maybe.
don't know. All right. Then goodbye. Thank you
You
for
hear that,
playing.
Randy? You gotta stay awake.
Yeah, hey, when you leave next
Good
time,
night,
let
guys.
us know so we're not
See you
like
next week.
trying to wake you up for 5 minutes.
Yeah, we thought for sure you dozed off. We didn't hear you.